life of riches and success. You know that. Now go show the world. This is where it all starts. Kick off your life in the direction that pushes you towards a life. Today is given to you as an opportunity. Today might be bad, but let me tell you what, they don't last. They never even start. Today can and has the potential to be incredible. Do you know that? Do you know that today has the potential still to be incredible? Right now is the time to make today happen, no matter the circumstance. Because today can define you. Today could be the day you need to be defined into a stronger person. Strength. This strength on the inside of you, man, this is what lasts. This is your legacy. The legacy that pushes you into the right direction. And let me tell you, that direction is always going to be forward. Because forward towards a future with a purpose is one that's constantly achieving and constantly looking to be better. To become the person that you admire. Find out who that is, become that person. Who is it you admire? See how they operate. Become what you observe. So start to become that person that you were always meant to be. I'm saying be someone else. I'm saying find out what about them speaks to something in you. So know that this is going to change you. And this over here is going to be left behind. Sometimes are going to be inevitable. There will always be there. For you, my friend, you're one step ahead. Take this as your opportunity to change your life for the better, to enjoy the life you deserve, to have the future you've worked for, the future you know you can have. Use this as a tool to life success. A life where you can take control. Make sure you know which direction you're headed in. Organize your world in your favor for your purpose, for your future. This is the opening to take you towards a life full of success. You have this control. You have always had this power. Unleash the animal that pulls you towards the future you've earned. This opportunity is your power. The time you have now is your power. Take it. You know that you can have this potential. The potential to feel like you worked for it. Feel like you know what you deserve. Trust your work. Trust your progress. Make this your power. The power to succeed. This is where it all starts. Kick off your life in the direction that pushes you towards a life. If you don't tell yourself who you are, then you'll allow anybody else to tell you who you are. Wherever the energy goes, that's where the energy flows. And you know what I would really want them to know is to tell themselves who they are. Like, I am powerful. I am amazing. Within a week, he wasn't getting bullied no more. She wasn't saying that she's ugly anymore because she stopped listening to the outside noise and she started listening to what she told herself she was. When you stop tending the garden, those weeds are going to creep back, whether you like it or not. Like when somebody does something perceived as great, it's almost written off because they're assumed to be gifted. When somebody says you only accomplish this because XYZ, no. The secret to success is doing a lot of little things consistently over a long period of time. It's a development process. Anybody can do it. We're moments away every day from a decision that's going to completely change your life. The journey you're on is big enough, and it's going to have enough impact and change your life and other people's lives. One reason it's not going to be big enough. And you need to put a lot of thought and a lot of preparation and a lot of meditation into all of the reasons why. Because at some point in time, you're going to need to gather all those little bad boys out and intently focus on it to have enough courage to get back up. future generation. And I think it takes a dreamer with vision that has incredible work ethic, that has the ability to move and flow as things evolve and change. And to me, that is almost the perfect storm to achieve something that everybody has said impossible, because you have to be calm. You have to not listen to all of the chatter. And then you have to be able to block that out. You have to have extreme vision. And then nothing happens without that work ethic that I learned from my dad.
Looking for a car? TCV. Japan's largest online used car marketplace. Trade Car View changed its name to TCV. Choose from more than 90,000 cars. With exciting money-back guaranteed and 24/7 customer service. TCV has 94% customer satisfaction rate. Looking for a car? TCV.
Peace.
This was me right after I started my business. You see, starting my business, that was easy. But maintaining most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. You take that challenge. When you answer the call, and you see the other side of pain. It's called glory. This is called glory. I have never seen anybody who did extraordinary feats that didn't have extraordinary issues. It is the passion that gives you the power, but it is the pain from which you have the conviction about it. If you had not been through some pain, you would not have the burden to do what you do. Everybody can serve. Anyone can be a leader. Listen, our grades don't have a thing. A day when you were born and a day when you die. And they got a dance in between. And that dance defines what your legacy is. Work hard, and get what you got to get. You don't work hard, you got it. You get nothing. You got to work hard. Work hard. Work hard, and get what you got to get. You don't work hard, you don't get nothing. I was not the biggest, the strongest, or fastest, but my goals were clear. My actions were and still are in service to those goals. What makes you up when you try? Why live? Dr. Miles Monroe prepares leaders to the king of the jungle, he says. He says the lion is not the tallest animal. The lion is not the largest animal in the jungle. The lion is not the smartest or the most intelligent animal in the jungle. Yet, on the other hand, wake up 4:30, 4:45, some sort of cardio. Open these garage doors. It's still dark outside. I do this, and then I'll have breakfast in bed, and I will go on my street.
Right. Thank you so much, everyone. I just want to start today by saying thank you, everybody, for joining in. Number one. Number two, I want to wish you all, brothers and sisters who are celebrating Easter right now, I want to wish you the best in life. And for people who are not celebrating Easter, I want to say happy COVID-19 season to everybody. I'm so privileged to be here. And as a matter of fact, it's not the number of people that matters to me, it's the quality of the people who are part of this who are part of this opportunity today that really me. What I want for everyone is to be successful, whichever way that we choose in all our endeavors. And the thing about success as I've get to know over a long period of time, is the thing about success, as I've got to know over a long period of time, is you have to be dedicated to it. The funniest thing about success is, come to think about it, couple of decades ago, I was in Nigeria, and at the back of my mind, I wanted to travel out. Precisely, I was even thinking I'm going to travel to the United States because that's where all my uncles are. And at a point in time, that wasn't happening. I thought I'm going to go to a country called Seychelles. That didn't happen. But the funniest part of everything is just because I have that belief, and I constantly talk about it, I constantly even pray about it, in one way or the other, despite the fact that I am working, the inspiration for me to be able to travel out didn't come until I get to meet one guy that hasn't got any money, that hasn't got any job, and it's so bad for him that his parents are even living in a church. So he used to come to my workplace back then, early hours of the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning, for the use of internet. One of my work colleague wouldn't allow him in, but I always allow this guy in for no reason. So he kind of have some kind of love for me just because I always allowed him in. We've got a little bathroom in the office back then. That's where he's going to take his shower. When it comes 5 o'clock in the morning, I didn't have no idea where he's coming from. But I always see him with his sponge in his hand, and he will ask me if he can come in. I was working night at that particular point in time. Then I was doing day in another company, in another internet service provider. I was doing a day job there, but I was doing a techie job, like a computer engineer in a firm over the night. We have to run things over the night, 24 hours a day. That's how I used to work, you know. And but this guy always come in early hours of the morning with his phone. He will quickly jump into the bathroom, use the bathroom, and then use the internet. And before you know it, he started processing whatever is processing on the internet. I had no idea at that point in time. Then I realized that he begged all around to get money for passports. And then this guy got money for passport, went to British Embassy, he got 3 years and student visa at that point in time, long time ago. But the thing about this guy is, this guy was even born in France by his parents, but the parents, they lost everything till they were living in church. So he didn't have anything at all, but he has that utmost belief that he's gonna go abroad. Can you all hear me? So with that belief and not having anything, this guy automatically find himself abroad in United Kingdom. When he gets there, we didn't lose communication. We start talking, and then I was like, okay, so how did you manage to do it? And that was the first lesson of life that I learned, that if you want to know how to do something, you have to first of all find someone who know how to do it or who has done it before in one way or the other. And then you have to start asking them, how do you get to do it? All right, I have a little change, not so much of money at that particular point in time, and I wanted to travel out, and it was a guy that didn't have nothing at all that I get the knowledge from. He showed me, oh, all right, this time around, the season to enter the union at that particular point in time is closed. You have to start next year, but when you start next year, you have to start early. The application process, this is what you need to do and everything. He put me through every single step that I need to get there. These steps that he put me through, they were step by step. They didn't just come in one go. I will take my time to call him again over the night at my workplace, take my time to listen. So what do I do? How do I do this? How do I do that? And he explained it to me little by little. And at the end of the day, I managed to find myself abroad as well. And that is one lesson that I want to share with you. That's my own life story. So if you want to get something done, if you want to get to understand how to trade, you need to constantly listen to someone who do it. You know, you need to constantly listen to someone who can teach you how to do it. You need to be able to see how to do it and take your time and follow the process. And before you know it, tomorrow is going to be a great day for you all. So I don't want you to lose hope. You know, I've got a group of more than 3,000 people that I give education to all the time, you know, and some of them are lagging behind, they've lost hope. But yeah, I know that's life for you. And that's the reason why motivation is essential. I won't get to where I get to if I have managed to lose hope, even if I don't know how to go about it. That's not a problem. Just take your time step by step, little by little. Before you know it, 1 year, 2 years, couple months, you are there already. So the essence of today's meeting is to go through what I called market structure. And I know a lot of you have been agreeing for this meeting. You've been looking forward to it. You know, I did a last class, I think about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. You know, I've been struggling a lot to get internet sorted in Africa. But luckily enough today, I believe you can all hear me. So if you can hear me, I'll be more than happy to see you saying yes or 111 in the chat room, and then I'll just delve into the chat and then we get things done. All right. So, and if you have any question or whoever send the chat first of all, thank you. Whoever send a particular instrument first of all, forex, commodities or whatever, that you want us to look at, you know, I like to tailor my own class according to your wish, not just about what I've already checked or whatever, so that I can show you that you can do this thing even closing your eyes. The only market that's open right now is the cryptocurrency. But if you have anything at the back of your mind that you want us to start with, whoever posted a particular instrument first of all, or if a couple of people posted almost the same type of instrument, then we're going to go through. All right. All right, so someone has posted gold. So gold will be the key instrument that I'm going to do the today's teaching on. And then we're going to look at some other trading opportunities with other instruments. If you have any other instrument that you want us to look at, don't hesitate to send it across. So thank you so much for posting that with me. And then at the same time, I would like to say I'm recording this session. Thank you for joining in. Ugochukwu Unwokebeta, thank you for joining in. Best, my good friend Damien Scott from London, thank you for joining in. Doji is in Benin Republic, thank you for joining in. Edmond, I haven't seen or heard from Edmond in a very, very long time in Nigeria. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in as well. Jay, thank you for joining in. And my honorable friend Mohammed, all the way from Somalia. Mohammed has been providing us with a lot of values lately. I mean, Mohammed has taken his time. I remember when Mohammed first of all joined the group, and he take his time to learn little by little. But now Mohammed is coming up with the analysis and checking it out for him, and we are taking it from whatever post that he sent in. Thank you so much for joining in, Mohammed. I do appreciate a couple of last few days chats and everything that we've managed to look at together. We use that to increase and improve on our skills. Pips and candles, that's my bestie right there. Buki, thank you so much for joining in. You know, Buki went through my mentoring course and I was surprised. I was so surprised. Last week, she showed me what she's making on weekly basis on our trading. You know, I just gave her just 1, 2 little tools, you know, and I was so surprised when she showed me categorically that week after week, she's finding it very easy to make $244. You know, it's not about someone doing it for you. This is Bookie's one of the week results that she sent to me, $244 in profit, and this is a live account, and she's only taking a small position. That's what she makes at least close to that every single week, you know. So thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for going through the mentoring. Shegun Daramola, thank you for joining in. You know, when I see success stories like that, it makes me know that anybody can do this. You know, you just have to take Theotech, thank you for joining in. Tobi Olumide, thank you for joining in as well. And then Wumi, thank you so much for joining in. So Wumi asked about gold. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through some few things on gold today. And what I'm gonna take you through, I believe is gonna make a lot of impact and big changes in your next direction when you look at the market and how you look at the market and how you trade it at the same time as well, you know. All right, so this is a chart for gold, okay? What I wanted to do today and what I want to concentrate on is what I call market structure and price pattern. As you can see on my charts, I've got a couple of little jargons on them, you know, all these indicators. Most people's charts will look like this, but the confusion for most new traders is exactly all this. This is where the confusion is. This is what cloud their judgment. This is what makes it difficult for them to be able to learn. This is why they don't understand what they're doing. So as a matter of fact, what I want to do today is I'm going to go through pure price action. So what we're going to be dealing with is just the price, nothing more. No indicators. We're not going to make any trading decision based on indicators, because if you are new and you're today you hear this, tomorrow you hear that, and you're trying to find a way out of this challenging situation that you have to go through every single day, then I believe if you can understand what price actually do, then obviously it will be much more easier for you to trade. Your judgment wouldn't be clouded, and it will be a lot easier for you to see things clearly. All right, so what we're going to be using as our tool today is, I'm going to list it down, the tools that we need. We're just going to be using tools. We're not going to be using any indicators. We're going to be using what is called horizontal ray. First tool will be horizontal ray and this ray. And I'll be able to show you clearly how to see things differently. And number two is we're going to be using trend line. All right. And then at the back of these two tools, these are not indicators. These are just for you to measure price, to see where things are going. At the back of these indicators, you'll be able to make an informed decision. All right. If I'm going to use any other tools, I will outline it for you as well. So as all new trader, or as a new trader, I want you to listen carefully. The charts that you need to start with when you're starting your analysis, you're going to need what is called a top-down analysis. You're going to be able to do a top-down analysis. And then we will start with the monthly charts. That's, we will check the weekly. And then we will check the daily. You can zoom all the way down to 4 hour. And 1 hour, then 15 minutes, most probably for your entry. All right. So, okay, so we're starting with the monthly chart, and I want you to note the time. All right. The first 15 minutes, I will do extensive teaching so that you can see things clearly, and then we'll be able to go through other other instruments much more quicker. So the first thing that I want you to see when it comes to market structure is this. As you can see over here, the price of gold did just one particular thing. All right, I know there were ups and downs, right, but it moves up. Okay, and when the price of gold is moving on, before it gets to this area, yeah, it did a couple of things as well. It started a journey from here, all right, okay, and then have a correction over here, okay, and then continue to go up right here. Okay, so before we go up right here, yeah, as a lot of you will understand, we have what is called, the market moves in just two pure form. All right, and we always say this, it will move impulsively. All right, in this impulsive mode, the market will not create any reason for you to have any understanding why it's moving. It will just be flying and be jumping. Okay, before you think about it, even if you think, oh, it has moved too far, or let me just jump in and sell or do whatever, the price is too high, it will just continue to rise. Oh, okay, let me sell, it will just continue to rise. Okay, and then the funniest thing that you will see is in this impulsive mode, this is where a lot of mistake will be made as well by traders. All right, because the only thing that any trader that doesn't really know much will be thinking is, the price is too high, let me sell. The price is too high, let me sell. Okay, so the impulsive move, you cannot do anything about it. Okay, you have to let the impulsive move continue its process first of all right, and then this is how you will now be training yourself towards what is called patience. All right, if you don't have patience, you won't be able to make good money in the market. Then you have to wait for that second phase. The second phase is the correctional phase. In the correctional phase, it will be doing things like this, some kind of zigzag movement, all right? And this zigzag movement is called certain names, like correction is called, let me end it here, all right? So the first thing that you're gonna be looking for is things to look for. At the end of the day, number one, what you want to look for is profits. Okay, so how do you make profits in the market? Number one, you have to be able to identify the impulsive move on a big time frame. We will do all that now. Once you can identify the impulsive move, the characteristics of the impulsive move is, it is, so take note that perpendicular. If you don't know the meaning of perpendicular, I would say it is that almost a straight line move that you see in the market that will just be jumping, flying. Before you think about it, it's gone. Before you think about it, it's gone. Before you think about it, it's gone. While you are thinking, yeah, it's too high, let me sell it, you just see it keep moving. But this impulsive move does not happen, say, like all the time in the market. It occurs probably 20 to 30% of the time. All right. And then the next thing you want to look for is, you actually want to see the end of that impulsive move. Okay, because if a market has begun an impulsive move and then you went to go and jump in on the wrong direction of the market, then you will realize that thinking most probably the price is too high. There's never a price that's too high or a price that's too low, but you have to wait. This is your waiting. If this has begun, if you check, let's see, if you check your chart during an impulsive move, any time frame, preferably the higher time frame, please wait, be patient, wait. What are you waiting for? The correction. This correction is also the ranging market. This ranging market is also the equilibrium. This equilibrium is also the balance. This balance is also the, any other name for it, consolidation. Also different kind of names by also different school of thought is also the retracement. All right. So there's no need to get yourself confused by what is this, what is that, is also the pullback. Okay. And that is what correction is. So you have to wait for the correction. If you do not wait for the correction, you will be finding it hard to pick a profitable trade. And what will then happen is possibility of a continuation most of the time. In some cases, most times, in some cases, when the trend has finalized, reversal. Okay. All right. So the structure of the market is understandable to be this impulsive move series of correction. All right. And this correction will now lead to what we refer to as continuation. Okay. So now the challenge is this. The correction is your friend. Okay. The reason why correction is your friend is the correction always comes in an identifiable pattern. All right. So now what we need to always be doing is to be able to identify when a correction is in place. Okay. And that's how you'll be able to trade price just only without worrying about indicators. When you start to see the correction in place, you will start to identify the correction, all right? And when you start to identify the correction, the tools that you will need to be able to identify the correction correctly is that trend line tool, all right? So this is what we do. This is an impulsive move over here. When the price is coming down, it's a correction, all right? And this correction goes for some period of time. It went almost like this. This is the high, and you have to be careful about how you take your highs and your lows as well. All right. Okay, and as you can see, this particular correction comes in form of a triangle. Well, all you need is to be able to identify any time that the correction is going to break out. The moment you can identify the correctional breakout, there is 90% chances that the continuation will be in the right direction that the impulsive move starts from. Okay, so you wouldn't have to hesitate. Do I have to be a seller here? Now you have 90% chance to just buy this market and leave it for 1-2 months. If you're looking at a monthly chart, for it to mature 3 months. In this case, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. All right. And then the correction again will come in. The correction is always coming in the opposite direction of the continuation or the impulsive move. All right. So the correction is the opposite. And when the correction comes in, it will give you another some kind of pattern. And how are you going to identify that pattern is by looking at the highs, okay? Looking at the highs and connecting the highs together, all right? When you connect the highs together, you look at the lows and you connect the lows together as well, all right? So there are also different kind of patterns that comes in. And that is how you see it again. When that breaks, it will give you another continuation, 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 all right? And that continuation, let's say to this highest point, all right? So now we got to this point now, we have what is called a correction as well, okay? So if I ask you a couple of questions, you'll be able to answer me shortly. So in this correction, this is the eye on of the impulsive move. In this correction, you got these two eye. Yeah, week to week. You have to connect it week to week. All right, week to week. And there's a way to trade the correction as well. But we are looking for where the direction is going to be. All right, so this makes some high. All right. And if a price is going to continue to be going on high, then we need to see another higher high, all right? But when we saw this first sell-off, this retracement, the high that it makes was this high over here, all right? So that's number one. And then the next thing that we saw was this sell-off. At this point in time, if you don't know what's going to happen, this would have been the way that you're going to connect your eyes. You will be connecting your eyes that way. Then, when you start to connect your eyes that way, the first eye, the second eye, although this is a monthly chart, okay, then you are now seeing this low, these two lows, first low, second low, and third low. All right, already all the actions that's happening inside here is alerting you to what is going on, that this is a correctional phase, because the correction is always opposite the impulsive move. But we don't know how this correction is going to happen. So the more the correction prolongs, the more you will be looking for what is the possibility of me entering this market. All right, because the first thing you're going to be thinking of is an impulsive move needs to have what? A continuation. So we've got this impulsive move, and we are seeing a couple of corrections that's going on inside there. And the first break was this, okay, which was the kind of the second, which is the continuation continues. And if it's an impulsive move that we are seeing, obviously what we'll be expecting is simple, a break of the high, all right? And this third month, what we see is this red particular month. When we see that red particular month, it's alerting us to another thing. That red particular month can either be a sense of exit for us, that if this is an impulsive move, then we shouldn't really get a red month or a red hour or a red week or a red 4 hours or a red day. You know, that's an indication for you to know that this impulsive move that I've seen over here is more or less like not going to continue. Although I may have been in the market, when I see the break, all right, I'm expecting continuation, and that continuation should continue to push up further. Am I making any little sense at all? So what you want to do now is connect the eye. Now I have to be patient. I don't know what's going on over here, but I've seen two eyes which are lower than the initial eye, and that is alerting me to something. The price will always tell you which direction it's going to go. That's alerting me to me possibly thinking of going much higher will be a very, very negligible chance. So you've connected this eye, 1, 2, you've connected this low, 1, 2, those are the lowest low. What you are waiting for at that particular point in time is a break of this part. But the good thing that the correction will be signaling to you is, if we really want to go high, we've tried to go high the first time, those traders met resistance. We tried to go high the second time, those traders met resistance. We have a very long one in the gold, yeah, coupled with fundamentals or no fundamentals. You have to be looking at the price and be understanding what the price is telling you. And then we have another high over there, and then you will be seeing some kind of pattern that they will be talking about triple top, triple bottom, you know. And then I wanted to show you what is mass psychology in some kind of sense, and why most traders, 90% of traders, and you'll be seeing this all the time, that they'll say 90% of traders always fail, all right? Or they don't make money, all right? So this area, can anybody tell me what this area is? what this area is. Normally, say for example, you're a new trader or you are learning to trade, what would they call this area for you? And what would they call this area for you? If I can get that answer in the chat room, I will be happy to proceed. What would this area be called? Because the problem is a lot of people consolidation. I'm talking about the eyes, this eyes, ranging. Someone says ranging, but what is this eyes and what is this lows? Support and resistance, okay? So what do you do at resistance? If you get to a resistance, what do you do at resistance? You sell, okay? What everybody sells at resistance. And what do you do at support? You buy at support. Okay, so if you're going to be buying at support, which is somewhere over there, you buy at that support, which is somewhere over there. The main reason why people are thinking of buying at support all the time is so that price can definitely continue. All right. So I want you to listen to this part of the lesson clearly. There's something that we call mass psychology. Okay. And in mass psychology, that is the idea that everybody have at the back of their mind all the time. Okay, so if I ask you that, what would you do at the support? Straightforward, the only thing that you're thinking of, now I'm at the support, is buying the support. Because if you go on anywhere, on internet, on YouTube, how do you trade the Forex market? Probably support and resistance is the only thing that's going to come out. All right, now think about it. If every trader is buying support and they are making money, right? Why would 90% of traders be losing or be blowing up their accounts? So this is what mass psychology is all about. When everybody have the same opinion, and you have 10% of people who are looking at that opinion in a different manner, and those 10% of people make money than most people that have the same opinion, what do you really think is happening? Can you really say to yourself that, oh, this is where you start to get yourself alert and start to have sense that probably support and resistance is something else, you know? I'm not saying support and resistance is not right, okay? But there is no exact price. Look at this. If I put my horizontal ray, and I'm going to put a magnet, and I put an horizontal ray underneath this first area, okay? And then I make it solid and I make it thin, okay? And then look at the price over there, 1522.74. That should be that support price, okay? That should be that support price. 1 second. Right? And if it's a support, yeah, it's understandable that a support can be broken sometimes. Well, because a lot of people have had it at the back of their mind that at support, all I'm going to be doing is be buying, all right? Look at this price over here. We made a high over here, which is lower than that high. We tried to make another one, is lower than that high as well. We made the third high, which is lower than that high. All those prices over there is alerting us to something. It's telling us that something is happening over there and the buyers are getting overwhelmed in that particular area, not necessarily just because there's a resistance there or that resistance cannot be broken, but something is happening over there. But we created a particular type of a pattern over here, all right? And this particular ranging box pattern that we are creating over here, that we are seeing as support, a lot of traders right here is buying this support again, okay? But what happened? If you go to a casino, this is how you start to think about it. If you go to a casino and there is 2 cards on the table, and over the last 17 period of time, the dealers has always been picking one of those 2 cards. Let's assume those 2 cards are red and black. If I ask you, on the 18 times, the dealers has been picking a red card every time for the last 17 times. On the 18 times, what is the chances that that dealer is going to pick a red card again. Does anybody know what chances does that dealer have to pick another red card again? There's two cards on the table, red and black. Someone says 50-50. What's the chances of picking that red card again? 50-50. All right. So if you have something in terms of price, whereby price can only go up and price can only go down, what is the chances of this support holding all the time? What is the chances of this support holding all the time? Someone says 90%, all right? So that is the 90% of the people who always fail, because you have price can only go up or down. If price gets to a particular level, there's every chances that price can go through that price, and there's every chances that price can bounce away from that area. But because you've had this fixated idea that that support will always hold, when the support is going to be broken, you are not prepared for that at all. And while you are not prepared for it, you're still buying that particular support at a time when going up higher has been showing a tendency of weakness, all right? And what we are seeing over here is a reversal type of a pattern. And why is it a reversal pattern? We've broken above this box area, make a high, yeah? Just 2 months, all right? But we've tested this same area the first time, yeah, the second time, and the third time in space of how many months? It takes us 2 months to trade above it, but we tested it for the last how many months? For the last 546 days. 546 days, let's get a calculator. And this is the same way, if this is hours, this is how you will be calculating your hours as well. Divided by 30, that's 18 months. It has taken us 18 months to be fighting to go up higher. We've only went up higher for 2 months. So definitely something is alerting us that 2 months of highs and then 18 months of trying to go higher, it's a reversal pattern, because we didn't even get closer to this high. And henceforth, this support choose not to hold, all right? So the 50-50 chances of that support holding eventually breaks. It was 90%, and Jay talked about, Pips and Candle says 50%. That 50% chances now give this support the chance to break, all right? And when that support breaks, anytime that has to be a strong support for you to hold by looking to your left. All right, so what we are doing today is we need to be able to understand market structure in current or recent price patterns, okay? So the recent price patterns that we are seeing is we can go above this high, okay? Now, this is the low that the recent price pattern is showing us again, all right? So even when you look to the left, if the area is holding, yeah, for 10, 20, 30 years, there is still every 50-50 chances that our area can be broken, because by the time we go deeper into understanding market structure in recent price action, then you will be able to understand what is going on. So when a reversal happened, what kind of move, how did we come out of this consolidation or the correctional zone? Did we come out of this in an impulsive manner, or did we come out of it, like I said, we are still correcting? Did we come out of it perpendicularly, or we come out of it like in a correctional manner, coming out of this support zone that's not meant to be broken? Because the mass psychology is you have to always have your support, and your support should always hold. How about when the support is not holding? You know, support too can be broken. So the price came out impulsively. So if the price comes out impulsively, as you've seen, all right, there's 90% chances that after the break, you're gonna see continuation, okay? And that continuation, what direction is it gonna have? What direction is the continuation gonna present to you? Now, once you see a break of a correctional pattern, whether it's a continuation or a reversal, once you see a break, exactly. So now the only thing you want to be doing in the gold is just to be thinking of selling, all right? So you don't want to be buying gold because you know that the thing about the impulsive break is you need to understand or you need to follow the money. You need to know the direction where the money is going on any time frame, okay? You need to know the direction where the money is going. Now you know clearly the direction the money is going, that the money is going to downside. You don't want to think twice of, so what am I going to do in this market now, okay? And we're going to go in details as we progress in this series of webinars of how to pick entries and exit, all right? So I would like to say, number one, thank you again for joining in, and I do appreciate all you that are part of this webinar tonight, all right? And I will be more than happy to say to you that this is a free webinar that I'm running, and for anyone who feel like they are getting value from this and they want to support our webinar, they want to support some of the software that we use, like the Zoom that we use, because nothing is we're not getting anything for free now times, you know, like the Zoom that we use, like some of my own time as well, right now I'm in Africa, you know. It's not the amount that you give that matters to me. It's just the support for me to see that you support. I created some means of payments. I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat room. If you have any means of support that you want to give, you can use PayPal, you can use Bitcoin, you can use Litecoin, you can use Dogecoin to support the class, and I'm more than happy to appreciate it, all right? So we have that impulsive break. Now we have sense of what direction is going to be, all right? So after this impulsive break, the first month, the second month, the third month, we start to see some form of correction as usual, all right? That correction leads to more or less like some kind of continuation that is failing somewhere, all right? Another correction that starts to fail, all right? So all these things would have been visible on your chart for you to see, okay? So if we are looking at this type of corrective move that is forming in this impulsive, at the back of this impulsive move down, all right? What we're going to be able to connect is we easily be able to connect the highs and lows again together. All right, connecting the highs and lows again together will make it easy for us to understand where price is going. All right, and what we want to be doing is connecting it at the top and connecting it at the bottom. All right, such that we are looking for whether price is going to continue all the way down and break further down, or price is going to break up higher. All right, so in this case, right, impulsive move, some bit of correction, all right, tracking the price. Where does the price breaks? Does it break higher or it breaks lower? All right, so the price managed to break higher. Whenever the price breaks higher, all right, that has set another direction for us to follow, because we've now broken out of the correction, okay? When you break out of the correction, the low of that correction becomes an important low for you. And in short, the low of that correction should be the low that you should be putting your stop. I know this is a big time frame, but we need to start to say from a big time frame, because the big time frame is what is going to give us that future direction. So when we break higher, which direction are we going to be going in the long run? Once we break out of this correctional phase, which direction are we going to be going in the long run? upside. All right, so someone says upside because we break higher. All right, so the direction now is identified that we're going to be going higher. In short space of time, the price continue to do is movement up. But one thing that I want to alert you to is on this monthly chart, you might not be able to see it clearly. All right, but when we go to the weekly, you'll be able to see it much more clearly. After the break, we have another correctional phase, all right? And this is the same thing that you will now be applying to a smaller time frame, okay? And then we will now go into details of how we can see pattern separation in recent market condition. That is what is important. You see, all this old move that has happened does not really matter much to us than what is going on anymore. So we have some kind of correction that occurs at the back of the break, okay? When you see a break out of a particular correctional pattern, which is forming, this is a descending channel that's forming, all right? And this always occurs most of the time, especially when a reversal is about to happen. The price will still be pressing down and moving down, but the correction will be coming more often. It will be pressing down, but the correction will be coming more often. And that's why it's so important for you to understand direction and know that when the eye of the zone is broken, then obviously the direction has now been set. But when you look at this, right, you won't be able to see more than when you look at it in a weekly chart, okay? So we've assumed that the trend is now going up. And this that I'm showing you, right, you'll be able to see it in much more other currency that we go through as well. Some decision about which direction a particular instrument will go would have been taken, right? This price that we're seeing higher over here, that decision has been made from when we come out of this consolidation phase, from this breakout, right? These new higher prices that we've seen, that we are seeing in gold, has been made from this particular zone, all right? On the weekly chart, I'll be able to go into much more details, but let's see where we are. So we break out of that correctional phase, then we have another correctional phase, all right? This correctional phase, we might not be able to anticipate it that is coming, but this correctional phase, we will be in the market longer than anticipated, because after breaking out of a correctional phase, we are expecting price to move all the way higher. So in this case, price tried to move higher. We find a retracement back to that trend line for the people who love break and retest. That break and retest, basic mass psychology, that's what is going on, all right? And that mass psychology will make a lot of people be thinking of break, retest, okay? And then probably price is going to go to the what? To the much more higher prices. But break, retest, and then we didn't see that upward move. But we have known from a very, very long time, all right, that price is going to continue to go higher. So we can anticipate this higher move in as much as price did not touch this low. You are still in the market, all right? And then eventually price break away from this correction and start to make another higher high. And this is the interesting part, okay? So support, when support is broken, what does it turn into? When support is broken, what does it turn into? Mass psychology. When support is broken, does anybody know what it turns into? That's what every trader is thinking about. Resistance. Okay, so we now start to progress all the way higher, and then we go to that previous support that's broken, and then every trader that has learned that, right, is thinking now we are back there and price is gonna crash. All right, that's what everyone is thinking. So majority of the things that are being taught, we need to be careful how we are applying it. Does this resistance after support that has been broken, does it turn into that resistance that give us that sell-off? Did we encounter that sell-off? Did we encounter the sell-off? No. All right. So, but what did we see when we break out of this massive correctional pattern? What kind of move is this? Is that some correctional move, or does it look like impulsive move? Bullish, which is impulsive move. And at the back of impulsive move, what are you expecting? What are you expecting at the back of impulsive move? Correction. And that's the reason why this 522.76, right? If support and resistance actually work, and it's not pattern that's working, all right? When you get to 522.76, what should be happening is that massive crash should be happening. So I'm now opening your eyes to what mass psychology is, what a lot of people is thinking, and why a lot of people is seeing price in a manner whereby they are making mistake as to which direction they want to pick. All right. So now, but eventually this resistance failed and price break above it, because we come from a very impulsive move. And then now what are we doing? We saw a correction, and that correction is leading to continuation. And most people that know that the price has broken away from this impulsive move downtrend away over here, we continue to believe and hold their position while price is going up, because the institution have already shown us that we've broken out of a large correctional phase, and we broke up to the high side, and the direction where the institution are going to be pushing the money is to the upside. And gold has not seen enough upward potential, right? Because we haven't really break out of this upward potential. We are looking for a correction, right? When that correction comes in, we will see whether that correction will give us a reversal. But in this way now, right, what we are seeing is we're seeing gold having strength at the back of breaking away from this correction, facing the upward direction, and price continue to shoot up higher. Does it make any sense at all? So if you're looking at the price of gold, you are thinking of anything. You are not thinking of looking at this as a resistance alone. You're actually thinking of this as an area that can possibly start to bring about correction, because this impulsive move hasn't shown any sign of wavering at all. So correction might set in here, and then when we see the type of correction that comes in, then we box it up, right? And then we look at it, is it a triangle, is it a channel, what are we saying? And then we will continue to anticipate a kind of impulsive move going forward until that correction give us some kind of patterns that cannot be hidden out of the market. And that's the thing about correction. Correction gives us pattern, and the pattern, we cannot miss the pattern. Once you start to see that pattern, you start to say to yourself, and the correction, look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking. When it comes to correction, it doesn't go in that straight line. Look at this. So, and then price continue to move, move, move. You see that zigzag movement before we eventually break out of it impulsively. So if we, that is a monthly chart breakdown. If we move to a weekly chart, what we want to do with a weekly chart and how we're going to be able to find entry is when we look at recent price action, all right? When we look at recent price action, we'll be able to determine what we are doing. So on this recent price action that goes back to 2017, there is a pattern separation that we can do even over here. This eye to that eye. All right. First eye, second eye. When you connect it together, you see that impulsive break out of it. The moment you see that impulsive break out of it, the one thing you are looking for is, wow, this is an impulsive break. All these cells that's coming in are giving me confidence to know that there's a correction in place. All right. And that correction in place, what I'm looking for is to start to connect the lows. All right. There are so many different type of patterns that you can see in the market. Start to connect the lows and start to look for whether the lows or the highs is going to go up broken. But because you are coming out impulsively, you know that the direction will be up. But some correction can be a short-term correction. But this particular correction in gold market, despite the fact that we've seen a clear direction that we're going to be going up higher, takes a very long time from 2016 May to current 2019. You know, that takes almost a 3 years worth of a correction, and there's a way to trade inside this correction as well. All you have to be looking for is that impulsive or corrective move. So when you see gold breaking out like this, what kind of move is this? So we broke out impulsively. What kind of move is this now? They are always in the market. Just identify them and wait for them to break. They are always in the market. Just identify them and wait for them to break out of the zone. What kind of move is this? Is this impulsive or corrective move? When we are breaking, what kind of move are we seeing over here? So that's a corrective move, and a corrective move breaks out of this particular triangle, and then we start to shoot up higher. All right, so let's assume we now start to shoot up higher. We get to this high point. This is where we are currently in gold, okay? So what I'm gonna do is this. We've done a little bit of analysis, but let's look at what's gonna happen over the next couple of few weeks. We know this is an impulsive move. We know this is a correction, and this correction, what we are looking for, the best place to put our stop would have been over here. I know it's a very long stop, all right, until price comes back to this low. This impulsive move is still holding, all right? So now we gain 2 base. I'm going to delete all this now, all right? So, well, if you see, have it at the back of our mind where we start from. This is the most recent base that we are seeing in the market, all right? And this recent base started at the break of this, all right? And this is an impulsive break to the upside. We start to have some funny type of correction, all right? And this is what you're gonna start paying attention to. Correction, we start to look at the names of those corrections, all right? And then start to get to understand them and their relationship. So we connect the first eye, we connect the second eye, price break out of this particular triangle, all right? So that gives us a new low, all right? So we're gonna connect this low, and we're gonna connect that low together. So now we are having what is called a funnel pattern. We are having a funnel pattern, all right? So to trade the gold going forward now, this is what you wanna pay attention to. Inside there, this does not give us a straight, clear, impulsive move to the upside. Guys, please give me 1 minute, please, 1 minute. All right, so when you start to look at price, you start to see things much more clearly, all right? So the current pattern, now what we're doing is, we've looked at the market structure, we are anticipating a high price going up, okay? That's what we've deduced, but we find ourselves in a pattern called a funnel pattern. This is just pure price action. And the one thing that you're gonna be doing with this price action is you want to start looking at things in a much more detailed manner, all right? That if we're gonna be going up, where are we stopping? Then, because we haven't seen any area to stop, we look at daily charts now, all right? So once you zoom down to daily charts, you can still see the lows that we are connecting is holding intact, all right? And then we are connecting these 2 highs, which is holding intact as well. When price touched this high over here, we saw a significant sell-off, all right? When price gets to this high over here, we saw a significant sell-off at the same time as well, all right? And then at the same time, if we do not have this huge sell-off, this would have been what we're going to be connecting. We would have been connecting these two lows together, just pure price alone, all right? But unfortunately, we've seen this price breaking down that low, all right? And as much as price went through this particular area, all right, price break back above it, do that break retest. And when you see that break and retest, all right, look at pattern separation now. Now we're going to separate this pattern away from every single price action. When you see this break retest, what do you actually see? How did we come up here? Do we come up here impulsively, or we come up here in a corrective manner? The major price action that will shake us was this particular move down, okay, on the daily chart, impulsive, all right. So, but when we get to this low, what we are having at the back of our mind was this base, all right. In as much as this base is still holding, which it held, right, we believe the same impulsive move can still continue to shoot up higher. So price was coming down here. A lot of professionals will be watching this low. All they want to see is, would we be able to break this? Because this move down is an impulsive move down. But when I break out the pattern for you, you'll be able to see how this impulsive move down turn around to become another move up. So we saw this. Can you agree with me that this is an impulsive move down? Does everybody agree with me that this is an impulsive move down? All right. And that is a recent market, that is exactly, and that is a recent market activity. So in a recent market activities, what we are actually looking at is what are our eyes. So we've connected that eye. We are in a larger correction. Rather, now the reason why we are in a larger correction is because we cannot see that impulsive phase of a move shooting up higher when we start to break down our time frame. Okay, so this larger correction, the eyes of those corrections, we've connected it. That's important. Now we have to do pattern separation. That is what we are doing on gold now. The lows of that, we've connected it. Okay. And then what we need to do now is all this I, right, is our areas to sell, because the first time we get there, we sell off. The rules of correction or any ranging market is we trade the ranging market differently to how we trade the trending market. All right. So once we've seen that inside there, we are having a very big correction. What we're going to be doing is, after we've marked up the next area to sell gold is for price to come up to this particular trend line. That's when you're going to have a very good sell opportunity. Okay. But before price gets to this trend line, what do we have on the way? We have areas like this, previous areas of highs. All right. And that's not the only previous areas of high. What we're going to do is we now have these previous areas of high, which we're going to put into consideration. When I touch that high, I want to connect this high again. So the first target would have been that area, which is this connection, this high and that high, all right? That would have been our first target, while our second target will be over there. So in each of these two targets, we will be anticipating a sell-off, all right? So the next area where gold can possibly encounter a high, where we can see that sell-off, is going to be around this area, all right? And that is what you're supposed to be looking for. You don't need to be looking for any indicators. You're going to be looking for how price is going to approach that high and how the sell-off is going to start. And then now I'm going to break this particular price action down for you for you to see how everything turn around when we go to a much more lower time frame. Okay, so on the daily, remember, if I go down to the daily, we said this is an impulsive move on daily. Okay, and this area, by the time you start to go down to a much more lower time frame, you will be seeing things a little bit more differently, but it's still based on the same concept. So when we go to the 1 hour chart, small trend line best, yeah. When we go to the 4 hour chart now, what we are seeing is the price encountered this particular sell-off, all right? This 4 hour sell-off on a much more lower time frame is going to be an impulsive move, all right, which we're going to get into, all right? And then we see a little bit of correction, okay? And this is how you now start to learn how to separate the pattern. You can even take it from this low, and then you will be able to see areas where you can be scaling into position clearly as we go forward. So we break this, right? This break on the 4 hour, because that 4 hour candle close down to that area, that is impulsive, all right? Some people will wait for the retest of it to see whether price will actually go up or break or find a stop at this trend line. They'll be looking for this trend line for an entry around there. So price continue to move down, all right? The move down in price give us another bit of correction. So normally some people will look at this whole move inside there, all right, because there's so many buy and selling activities going on, and say that, all right, this whole move doesn't look impulsive enough. Meanwhile, some people, look at this. I'm going to start using this red horizontal ray to show you areas of first entry, right? Because of the breakout out of that pattern, that would have been a first entry. All right, that first entry, when you look at it, when price reached this high, there's a sell-off, all right, which corrected back to that area, which would have formed more or less like a double top. That's another pattern in itself. All right, that double top pattern start to create some kind of move as well. Another correction, all right? All you are looking for is, now you know where the direction of the money is, all right? The direction of the money is now going down because of this correction and a break of this asymmetric triangle. This is an asymmetric triangle, that's the name of that particular pattern, all right? And then we have this breakdown, which is a continuation, which leads to a correction, but that correction gave us a double top. So the horizontal ray areas, or areas of highs, which are the same, all right, so all right, so I'm gonna start all over again because I wouldn't know precisely which parts that you did not get. Let me break it. Let me take this off. I hope you understand how we managed to get to the 4 hour chart. What I'm just doing is I'm going back to this so that you don't get confused on the daily. If you see an impulsive move, okay? If you see an impulsive move, all you are expecting is a correction that will lead into continuation, all right? So this impulsive move at the back of the daily, yeah, I know. This impulsive move at the back of the daily, you would have been looking at it for some kind of, you will be looking for the correction of it, okay, that will lead to continuation. And that correction of it is what we went to go and look for on the 4 hour charts, all right? How the price actually start correcting before things change around. And that's why I come to the 4 hour chart, because on the daily charts, you just see it as an impulsive move, all right? Meanwhile, on the 4 hour chart, it kind of break it down for us some more beyond what you can think. All right, so when you're looking at this, some people may look at it this way, connecting these two lows together, all right? But with some other strategy which I teach, I even showed you last week, we managed to understand where the entry is, which is around this area here. All right. And that was 1689.38 or so, if I remember that price where we went short. 1689.38. All right, so a lot of people will see this. That is an impulsive move. You may not be able to see it clearly, all right, but just because you are this area of I, all right, and price has hit this area of I, okay, this is the second part. You always need that third point on the chart to give you your opportunity to sell. The first point, you will be able to get it clearly, all right, which is somewhere over there. The second point, you get it clearly, all right? The third point now, you're using this line to find the third point, connecting that eye to that eye. And I'm saying when price gets to this eye, that's when we are looking for the next big short in gold somewhere on this eye, if you can remember that. So we are now breaking down that big impulsive move on the daily, all right, that we saw an impulsive move that has some correction. Don't worry about the points, in as much as you can get the first 2 points. That's the first one, that's the second one, extend it forward, all right? The first point on the high, the second point on the high, extend it forward. You see all these high areas are your target zone to sell back down once you note the first impulsive move, okay? So this would have been our first impulsive move. And then we have a very large correction, but I was doing it in a much more complex form. But I have to remember that even if I'm doing it in a much more complex form, it's not everybody that is complex or will be able to understand over here. So at the back of this first impulsive move, we saw some kind of correction, which is right here. Because you can see that the price give us that red cell, and we saw some greens, which is not actually pushing up higher, all right? But we've hit a particular trend line at this high, all right? And that sell-off came in, coupled with other little factors, which will be chipping in as we go. And then that sell-off occur, and we see a couple of correctional moves. This correctional move, at the time when it breaks this, that is giving you 90% chance, right? That price is going to go back down to the low, all right? That is giving you 90% chance that price is going to go back down to the low. So this price continued to sell off. We got another correction, which you can see clearly because the correction is not always going to be as strong as the impulsive move. Can you agree with me that this is an impulsive move, right? Can you agree with me that this is an impulsive move? And then now you can see that correction. That correction was short-lived. Another impulsive move followed it, right? Followed by another correction. As you can see, the correction will always short-lived, it won't be long, and then followed by another impulsive move, okay? And at this impulsive move, it has taken us to a particular low target zone, which will be somewhere around there, all right? So, and that will be that target of this particular pattern that we are seeing, the lowest low, which is where we go. So once you get to that low target, that is where you'll be thinking of price may likely going to reverse, and then you'll be looking for reversal pattern. There are a couple of ways in which you're going to be looking for the reversal pattern. Is either by you understand what a reversal pattern is, all right? And in this pattern, I can see some funny head and shoulder pattern forming, right? If you look at this, you can see this as a left shoulder, and this is the head, all right? And over here is the right shoulder. Why? Because when the price comes down like this, we form this particular low, we rise all the way up, we break all the way down again, all right? And then we form this little eye, all right? This little eye come down. This low portion did not hit here. If we don't consider that low portion, we look at this low portion. This low portion at the same time as well did not hit here, all right? And that is the last low which we've seen, all right? So this is a typical head and shoulder pattern, and it's a reversal pattern, right? If I leave it over there, if I bring it up, it's when we talk about head and shoulder pattern, it does not necessarily have to come out the way that you anticipate it. It's all about you understanding that one of the shoulder will be up high, the head will be all the way down, and we give you the last low price, which will be in the middle, and then obviously there will be some kind of a neckline, all right? And that neckline will produce another right shoulder, and that right shoulder will be ending the head and shoulder pattern. So these are head and shoulder pattern, but it's a funny head and shoulder pattern. It will be taking you time to understand this, but the other way to be able to understand it is to now start following your trend line, all right? Look at this trend, the way that it goes. If I pick this and go on like that, that would have been a particular nice trend line, all right? But what you're looking for in a trend line is you are using the trend line to track prices. So the price move sharply down. So you have to change the angle of your trend line to be this, okay? And you now start to track this eye, all right, followed by the next eye. If that next eye is giving you, which is going to be this eye, if prices are coming out of the first one, look at this. Just because some of these prices come out, you will have to adjust your trend line in like that, all right? You don't want price to come out of your trend line and you start to draw it out, then you didn't see any other price coming out until this actually hits this, all right? When that hits that trend line becomes valid. The first touch at that top eye, the second touch somewhere there, the third touch over there, and then what did you see? You see, this is an impulsive break, but you won't be able to see it clearly on, you may not see it clearly on this 4-hour chart, but what kind of move is this? You see this move clearly. It's a correctional pattern, and it's a triangular correctional pattern. It's an asymmetric triangle. And all this we are doing without using any indicators. The price breakout of it was impulsively as well. The first impulsive move, breakout of this particular trend line. That's the first impulsive move. Then follows by correction, and that correction gives you another impulsive move to the upside. So all you are waiting and you are looking for is one clear sign. I found my correction, impulsive move, correction, continuation is your money, all right? This continuation is your profits, okay? This continuation is your profit, and there are ways, technical ways to be able to measure targets and everything as well. Then we start again. So now that you've seen the break of this impulsive move down, that is alerting you to one thing, and the break did not just come, the break comes with a pattern as well, and this is what I'm talking about, pattern separation. The break comes with a reversal pattern. The break comes with a reversal pattern when we are doing the pattern separation, and that reversal pattern is one pattern that cannot be hidden by market makers from any trader. It's an head and shoulder pattern, although it's a slightly complex one, but it's still an head and shoulder pattern, right? And then price breakout of it. When price break out of that zone, that is when you start to look at it differently. That 4-hour trend line is very important. Which point will you enter the trade? All right, so the point that you're going to enter the trade is this is a 4-hour trend line. I've shown you how to draw that trend line in a right manner, all right? The break of that trend line, the break of the trend line, right, is your entry. So if you're tracking this on a 4-hour trend line, right, you may not be able to find that break easily on that 4-hour trend line, but a 1 hour to that 15-minute chart, as soon as you're seeing your price approaching that 4-hour trend line, that 1 hour to 15-minute chart will make it a lot more clearer. All right, so this is what you now want to be doing. So you want to see the first few impulsive move, a little bit of a correction. Correction is just going to be a correction, and then you see that impulsive move. All right, when you see the impulsive move, all you are looking for is entry technique will be varied by you understanding what when you start to join the low areas, that low areas, you've seen the impulsive move. Don't worry when the price starts to correct. Price will always correct. Then you start to see multiple areas where you're going to enter the market. In this case, let me show you. Right over here, when the price breaks down somewhere over here, all right, it created another multiple areas for you to be able to enter the market just by learning how to draw this. So you may have, first of all, start like this. Connect those 2 points. That is a wide correction, all right? And very smart people will be looking at the highs and look at, okay, impulsive move, correction, price came all the way down. They want to be tracking the highs, all right? They don't know where the highs is going to be. The first high would have been this one, okay? A lot of people will place a short based on area here. The price will still sell off. But the one funny thing about gold is this, you don't really see what gold is going to be doing, because sometimes price will go on, like I said, it's going to break up higher. Price, when it comes to gold, you always have to be able to track the 3 times. It's a 3 times process, all right? When you're looking at the high in gold, the first high, you're going to look at the second high. The third high always wanted to always go higher than the previous high before the sell-off will come in. That happens a lot in gold, because when I used to track it, and I track it a lot, and I always say this. So the breakout of that area, right, that will be giving you the chance or the little inclination that this price is going to go up, but what is going to be keeping you in the right direction, even when gold is faking you, a gold fake out is enough. But pay attention to this. This is your direction. That impulsive move, correction, price shoots down, make the second touch. By the time it's making the second touch, you're knowing that, okay, and the second touch is lower than this low. Price shoot up high to come and touch that trend line, all right? A lot of people is thinking of selling over here already. They would have sold, putting the stop somewhere above. When the fake outs occur, they are still in the market, all right? So fake outs do occur. When the fake out occur, it doesn't really matter. They are still in the market, but there are some other little techniques to be able to identify this, but see this as a fake out, and then price trade all the way back down, all right? Because one thing you have to understand about trend is that lower low, yeah, first lower low, another lower low, okay? And then now suddenly we make a high, all right? What we are expecting is possibility for a new lower low, all right? But we didn't get that new lower low until we see that fake out. That fake out did not give us a new higher high, all right? Then we saw this lower low and then price sell off. All right, so gold can be very complex like that, but don't worry. What is key for you is to be noting and understanding the impulsive move, all right, and track it on your 4-hour trend line at the same time as well. I don't know if that is clear. Don't we need to wait for potential retest after the break of trend line? So the potential retest in some cases, those are the mass psychology. We have talked about mass psychology and how everything that traders used to know as support and resistance is not the 100% of every single thing that you're supposed to know in trading. That's the reason why yeah, the 4-hour and day, those are good trend lines. So we've talked about mass psychology. The mass psychology is one thing that gives you the sense at the back of understanding what is going on in the market, because a lot of traders will be looking at the same thing, and that same thing that they're looking at always give them the wrong perception of what is actually going to happen in the market. So you can revisit the video when I reposted, Bishop. You'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. Once you start having that point, yeah, it's a resistance zone, all right, but you do not understand the impulsiveness of the move and the correction and the correction that's going to follow, then the only thing that you're going to be doing is you won't be able to get the direction right. You will be waiting at all resistance, thinking all resistance is going to do what? Is going to turn in, all support is going to turn into resistance, and all resistance is going to turn into support. And then suddenly you see price breaking it. And when price break it, all right, so look at this. Somewhere over here, right, there's some kind of resistance. When we break out impulsively, then we see a correctional move, and then we saw continuation, all right. At this continuation, there's a resistance in this zone, okay? Even a lot of people, just because they don't understand pattern, they will go ahead and say, okay, it's a zone. So they'll choose a low and then draw it up like this. Most probably, if I get it right, oh, that's a low, a touch over there, a break of that. Oh, this is a resistance zone, all right? So everybody is selling at this resistance zone at the back of support and resistance. They have forgotten the beginning of the move. They have forgotten that a reversal pattern was what created a reversal pattern from a serious, massive correction that we are seeing over here. This is a correctional phase. All this that we are seeing over here is a correctional phase that got broken out of this trend line. They would have forgotten that a reversal pattern has occurred over here, and this reversal pattern is what's get broken out before we start to see higher prices. All those are very important. The lesson that we are doing today is complex, but it's just a simple analogy of price for you to be able to see things much more clearly when it comes to understanding the structure of the market and then breaking down the patterns. All right. So what we've seen is, what we are doing is, if we go back to the daily chart, 1 second, after we break down the patterns little by little like that, we have find ourselves pushed up above here. So what I'm trying to show you is this move over here is a valid impulsive move, okay? And I break it down into smaller time frame for you to see it clearly. That's the reason why I went to the 4 hour and the 1 hour to see that it's clear on the daily chart that it's an impulsive move. And at the back of every impulsive move, this impulsive move, all we are looking for is a correction, all right? So we saw that correction last week. We were looking at a point on gold. I think we were looking at this area here. My others group, we were looking at this area here, and we were talking about it that there's an impulsive move correction, and we are expecting a continuation. You know what I mean? A lot of people were selling, even when price got somewhere around this side, a lot of people were still selling. So we saw that impulsive move. We saw this correction. This is a massive correction. So at the back of impulsive move, you are waiting for the correction. All right, trading the correction on a smaller time frame, yeah, goes a long way in a funny form as well. All right. So, but yeah, when you look at it on a much more bigger time frame, you will actually see it at a close level beyond how you will see it on a smaller time frame. On a smaller time frame, you can be making a lot of mistakes. This is the move that is bringing out all this correction, and all this correction needs to be completed. All right, it's a big correction. This correction needs to be completed before we see that continuation. All right, and the continuation will come at the break, at the back of the break of that correction. So we were tracking this area of correction. It's clearly a correction because it's an impulsive move that gets us there. All right. And then I was saying clearly on that particular chart, somewhere over here, that when we actually get the break of this trend line, the move is going to be explosive to the upside. And the good thing about impulsive move is that is where your money is, because this is what you have to be calculating. When you look at here, let's look at the last price action. When you look at here, right? it takes us 2 days and 12 hours, all right, to actually do all this madness, okay? And 2 days and 12 hours of waiting for a positive trade to occur. And then when we break, when we break, it has taken us how many days to reach this side? Only 13 hours. So what takes 24, well, what takes more than 24 hours? What takes 48 hours plus 12? So that would be 60 hours. We've had a good result in 13 hours. And this is the idea of correction. Correction will take a longer time, while the impulsive move will just come in, and in short space of time, you can see profit in short space of time compared to being in a corrective market. So there's no need to hang yourself inside a corrective market. Understand the preceding impulse, right? That will now give you the idea of the next continuation. Always understand the preceding impulse that will give you the idea of the next continuation. Continuation is where your money is. So now what we are thinking and what we are looking for is for price to reach this high. This is another major structural high, whereby any reversal pattern, which can be that candlestick doji, it can be that bearish engulfing candle that occurs around there. It's a sense for us to have a sell. And then that sell, what we want to be tracking that will be so important to us is to start looking at this trend line now. There is a trend line over here. All right. So basically today, what we are treating is market structure. The people that attended the Fibonacci lesson will now be able to use that to their advantage as well when it comes to this. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take out indicators out of the chart for you to see things in a much more clear manner. So when we get here, we're going to be looking at that sell-off that's going to be coming all the way down, that we're going to be targeting to see how well we're going to be able to break this trend line. And after we break this trend line, this is where we are coming. And after we get here, we might continue to go all the way down, because each and every time when we hit this massive area, right, we are seeing a sell-off. But the good thing about this is we know it's still an impulsive move that is controlling the situation. So we are expecting a sell-off at a key area, which is important. And then we want that sell-off to be targeting this particular trend line for this trend to continue. As soon as we break this trend line, all right, that's a key zone over there. Then we want to see whether the break is impulsive in nature. If that break is impulsive in nature on the short time frame, obviously all we want to do is we want to be a continuous seller, but we still have it at the back of our mind that the major direction is still up, and we don't want to break below this area. We do not want to break below this area. So a lot of traders are looking at this area as their buying zone. That's a long-term buying zone. From there, right, connecting over there, all right. So if price is coming down in this massive correctional phase, this highs over here until we break it all the way higher, those are the areas of sell, and this low over here are the best area of buy. If you are able to be picking your trade according to this particular structure that we have over here, there's no way your profits will not materialize. And when they break and they break impulsively, you know that you have, it makes a lot of sense for you to pick your trade over here such that when it break and it's breaking impulsively, you know that there's no two ways about closing my trade in this area. I just have to close it and then change direction. There's no two ways about picking a trade over here such that when price starts to come down, you know that you have a very good trade location, all right? Just connecting the dots, which are these eyes and those eyes over there, just connecting those dots, that first area of eye, that first area of eye, and then taking your trade somewhere around this eye zone on this trend line will make a lot of difference in how you can have patience in taking your position at the same time in the kind of profit that you can have, such that if price decide to break this area, oh well, that's a loss. It's not a problem. I'm waiting for it again in this zone at the same time as well. Then if you now get better in understanding and tracking all this trend line, using your Fibonacci will now be producing confluence in all these zones. And that's for another day entirely. Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't know how much value you've managed to get out of this for those people who have managed to stay tuned on this webinar from for those people who have managed to stay tuned on this webinar from the beginning, and the people who are just joining in. The webinar is recorded, but yeah, that's market structure on gold. What I wanted to do next is I want to look at a couple of other little currency. I want to look at pound. If you have any currency that you want us to look at, let's quickly do pattern separation on those ones and market structure at the same time, and then we call it a day. And because I believe you've all spent a long time listening to this, and then I hope it brings a bit of a value. Wow, there's been a lot of okay. Right, so we're looking at EU, no worries. EU and pound yen. Is that euro US dollar? No worries, Rumi. Sorry, I was going through an internet situation at that particular point in time. I actually looked for it. I believe I have it somewhere on some of my Zoom. I lost a lot of Zoom because the system, but yeah, those recent Zoom, I believe I have it somewhere in some of these Zoom, and I should be able to, let me see, 3rd of April, 9th. Probably is the 3rd of April, most probably. Most probably is the 3rd of April. Let's see. Yeah. The volume is very, not sure. Well, I'll be able to find it anyway. I'll be able to find it. If I find it, hopefully I find it. If I find it, then we take it. I'm gonna put it on YouTube and send you the link. But yeah, the time that I did that, I was struggling to find the internet. The volume was giving me a bit of a challenge. All right, so now what we're gonna do quickly, we're gonna look at the euro US dollar, and you'll be able to see how quick we'll be able to go through some of these charts. Okay, and then maybe, so this is our euro US dollar chart. Thank you for. So as usual, you don't want to cloud your judgment with any indicators. You want to quickly go into the monthly time frame for you to just have a little look, and then you want to be able to say, wow, this is a massive impulsive move. Okay, this massive impulsive move gives us some kind of reversal pattern. No problems. Some kind of reversal pattern over here. As you can see, there's no indicator on the chart, and then we have some kind of impulsive move on this monthly correction, impulsive move, and then right over here now we start to see price breaking down, but we broke down in an impulsive manner, and then we start to create that descending channel. And if what was it called, is see here, if Juma is see here, I believe she'll be able to identify this easily. And what you need is now that I've shown you that we've come out of that monthly chart in an impulsive manner, and this is the channel that is deciding the fate of the Euro US dollar. All right. So, so this is what we are looking at. The last impulsive move was clearly this one, as you can see. Okay. And then, boom. Okay. So when you're looking at the Euro US dollar on the weekly time frame, you already know that that area of low, all right? And this is a mass psychology that we'll be talking about. I'll be talking about this area now quickly for training purpose, all right? So traders, a lot of traders, if you are thinking of support and resistance, look at this. I'm gonna put on the magnet from this low to this low. That's number one. All right. I wish I can do a ray. Extend line, extend right line. All right. So if I extend the right line, all right. So the mass psychology is this. Everybody is looking at this line as area of what's it called? Area of support. All right. Even here we are looking at it as area of support. Okay. But the thing is, a lot of people will be waiting for price to get here, and then do what? They're gonna be looking for price. A lot of people will be looking for price to bounce from there. Yeah, the first two cases was right. 1 second. Yeah, to bounce back from there. But what they will do is just because they know 10% of people know that what you're actually looking for is this. Let me show you what they know that you are looking for, and you'll be able to see it on a much more lower time frame because they know that majority of people. All right, so let me quickly go to weekly and market so that you can see clearly what they know that you are thinking, and that's exactly what you are thinking anyway. This area, take out the magnet, and you continue to see it, and this is going to improve your trading greatly in some sense. Look at that area. All right, this is the target zone. All right, that the same thing occur over here. So if we go to the break and retest in those zones, if we go to 1 hour charts, we've got a massive key area right here. This is a 1 hour chart. Okay. Right, so for Bishop, I believe Bishop, let me see whether I still in. All right, Bishop was the one who asked the question. If you remember, this trend line is a weekly trend line, okay? So what the perception is this. The weekly trend line is a massive trend line, all right? So this is what you are thinking. When we break this, okay, that means we've broken the support for everybody that's trading support and resistance, all right? This area would have been an area of support. That means you've broken the support. And then what you are actually thinking is this. And I'll show you what you're supposed to be thinking. You're actually thinking that support is broken, okay? That support will be retested, and that support will give you continuation. All right? That's what you are thinking. Am I right or wrong? And but why is it that this is this area whereby instead of that support to give you continuation, price just move back in and start to go in there? So these are areas where my psychology plays in. Okay, these are areas where, and in an area where my psychology plays in, those are the areas whereby you have to start to understand the meaning of pattern and how pattern works. All right. So if I go to the 1 hour straightforward, we've seen an impulsive move correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. I just want to go through this fast. Another correction area, impulse, all right, correction. And if I actually start to mark it, you'll be able to see how multiple opportunities comes in at the back of this larger trend line on a much more higher time frame. But this is what you actually need to do. So that my psychology is what I've explained over here. I'll go back it, all right, but I'll go back to it, but I don't want to I don't want you to miss quite a lot of valuable thing going on over here as regard to pattern separation. All right, so we've taken this eye area. This is what we should be looking at. Okay, so that would have been the first one. All right, so now this first one becomes invalid when we start to have this one now. Okay, so this is the current one. All right. So some of this one would have become invalid because all this area, first touch, second touch, then mass psychology is the third touch. Anyway, we will get there. So what would have be valid for me to do now is where we are currently. There's a lot of mass psychology that goes on over here. That break and retest situation is happening over here, but eventually price goes back in. So you need to know the areas where traders are going to be doing the same thing. All right. If that same location, don't say I'm not showing you those same location on that higher time frame where all traders are going to be doing the same thing. It's like that's the area whereby they want to lure trader in. The traders are thinking of break, now we've broken, and then retest, and then instead of that break and retest to give you that continuation, you are in the area of mass psychology. Are you understanding? Do you understand the meaning of mass psychology now? What everybody is thinking, and then price will now do opposites. So if you, and the funniest part of everything is majority of traders they will be fighting this challenge day in, day out, year in, year out, all the time. It should be right. And then look, but the problem is you always go into that zone either very early or you go into that zone either very late. Okay, instead of you to understand what the money is doing or follow the money where the money is going, or you'll be going into that zone with so much of anticipation, such that when the reversal now coming, it will be like, wow, account blown, that type of a situation. But yeah, don't worry. That's what experience does. Experience will help you to be able to understand what goes. I wouldn't have understand all this if I haven't got that 14 years of continuous understanding the market, knowing what goes on. A lot of people, even out of the technical analysis, which they believe they know, probably they understand about EMAs, the moving averages, they understand about support and resistance. Probably they even know about 10% of technical analysis and they believe they are a trader, but even out of that 10%, technical analysis, which they believe they know, I've trained quite a lot of people on this platform and they can see the extensive of knowledge and everything. But I just understand that for new traders, you always have to try your best to go back to the basic for them so that they can just learn and grasp onto something that will just help their trading improve, So a lot of people will sit down in that mass psychology situation for years, for months, forever, and then they will get broke on that mass psychology because one thing you have to sit down all the time and look at, and the reason why it's killing is this: the advertisement stay continuous. If you go on YouTube right now and you look for beginner's guide to Forex, you will see how to make 100 pips in 15 minutes, how to trade support and resistance. Those are the kind of messages that you'll be getting, you know, and those are the kind of messages that will stick into your brain, and those are the kind of messages that will be so confusing that you won't be able to get much out of it. All right. So going forward, we're looking at this impulsive move. We're looking at this massive channel, all right? And this massive channel should actually be some kind of impulsive move down, but this impulsive move down is a funny one at the same time as well, because it's a correctional pattern that's just waiting to break out of this particular area. So you know for a fact that your best area to be looking for trades will be at those highs, all right? And what you're looking for at those highs is a reversal at those highs until you actually see that clear breakout of that particular zone. So when you see those break and you are believing it's a break and retest, then you have to be careful in all these zones, because what we are actually waiting for is that time whereby price is actually going to reverse again, because this impulsive move that we've seen should give us a particular correction, all right, that should give us another impulsive move. But instead of us to be seeing those impulsive moves, the patterns that's emerging out of it now is a funny correctional pattern, which is a descending channel, all right, which eventually price will hit one particular low, and then we will break the highs, all right, and then we will continue. But in most cases, we can break the low and continue, all right? So before this correction, in a correction, you have to be playing in ranges, all right? In any correction can come like this. Once you start to see that price is giving you correction, it can come in forms of a box. Correction can come in form of a triangle, you know, and price will be ranging inside there. All you are waiting for is the breakout of it. Correction can come in forms of breaking of the highs or breaking of the low. And the moment you got that clear break, you know, the one thing that you are looking for is that 90% chance that price is going to move down to all these areas. All right. So what I'm now saying to you in essence is this: we've got a massive correction over here, which we've broken out of. All right. In an impulsive manner, we got a correction, we got correction and impulse over here. All right, so when we got here now, we have another funny pattern that occurred that leads to this correctional move down, and then we start to have this funny descending channel. There's nothing we can do in this more than sell this high or buy this low. All right, and we have to watch for it carefully. So each and every time when price is coming out of this zone, we have to be adjusting our trend line, all right? So where we are currently is this area now, all right? So forget about the rest of the my psychology zone, all right? So this is what we are working with. You have to work with the current market and pattern. So if we go into daily now, we can see other impulse and correction forming, all right? While we have the big pattern at the back over there. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at this current structure. And the current structure, what it gives us the last time was this impulsive move down, a little bit of correction and continuation. Somewhere over here, we saw some kind of reversal pattern, double doji impulsive move, and now we are seeing correction. Impulsive move, and then now we are seeing some kind of correction. But if this does not look clear to you enough, then you now need to go into the 4-hour chart. All right, and when you get into the 4-hour chart, some prices, you can see how the price started. Impulsive move, a little bit of correction, continuation in terms of impulse and correction again. All right, and then when you start to mark this, you start to see it clearly. I don't need this to be extended. You start to see clearly how the impulse is coming out of each zone, and the impulse come out correction, you know, and then you start to see this massive correction, this an impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. Then when we get to this low, we start to see some kind of funny pattern. So what you want to be doing is you want to be separating the patterns. This pattern right here, that eye to eye, right? a smaller time frame, there to there on a smaller time frame. All right, so we hit this low, now we bounce off at that high, we break off in that zone over there. All right, they break, retest, then walk in that zone, but that's not our key zone. The next zone that we are seeing now is after that is everything is moving in a channel. Okay, and you can see at the bottom of the channel, when we have a breakout, we saw another correctional pattern. All right, so we break out of this correctional pattern. When we break out of this correctional pattern, how did we break out of this correctional pattern? Did we break out impulsively or not? Did we break out impulsively? So where is the money? Where is the money on this short term? Where is the money? Where is the profit going to be for us? What are we looking for next? Is the profit going to be on the downside or on the upside? And for answers, we've been going through this all through the evening. Upside profit. All right, so profit is going on the upside while we have the holiday. We start to see the funny little patterns coming up. Okay. If profit is going to be on the upside, where is the beginning of this? What's it called? The beginning of this pattern. The beginning of this pattern is somewhere. The thing is, you're going to be seeing patterns inside patterns, all right? And then you want to be targeting where is my stop going to be, you know? So in some cases, you'll be looking at your stop to be at this bottom over here, all right? That will be your mental stop. You want your stop to be at that bottom over there. Let's do this in a red font. That would have been your mental stop right there. Okay, the main target for a short-term trade is going to be this high. All right, if you've missed the trade and then you're still looking at prices possibly going all the way this higher, but before we can get this high, we need to come above here. But we've come out impulsively. We had that correction. The money is showing us clearly that it's pointing to the upside. Right now, we are sitting in a little funny zone, and the funny zone we are sitting on, when you change the time frame, you'll be able to see it much more clearly. So this is where all your candlestick what's it called will be working, and you'll be looking at things much more clearly, and then you'll be seeing things like flag formation. You'll be saying to yourself, okay, all right, let me see this now clearly. I can see clearly that this is an impulsive move. I can see there's a flag formation over here. This flag formation can be a bearish flag formation and it can be a bullish flag formation. Those are the two types of flag formation that we have. But before we even get there, um, now you're looking at things much more clearly. You need price to break out of this range for you to be able to take a trade, because clearly you can see that you are in an impulse, you are in a correctional phase, all right? So you are looking for a breakout. You don't care what is going to happen or anything until you see that breakout. There's no need for anybody to jump into this. But I mean, majority of the time, what you are expecting is the big money is in that direction, correction, big money shoot up higher, now start to give us some kind of patterns, which we are thinking if we touch down here again, we are expecting price to at least find a way to break up here, right? Because the last impulsive move was in that direction. It's going to be very hard for this weak correction to take out everybody that is giving us this at this point in time. Our stop is over there. Bear in mind that doesn't mean that we cannot still revisit this. So if we break out higher, if we break out on the upside, which means if we have a clear impulsive move close above here, then we want to follow this to the buy side, which would have been a good opportunity for us. Or now, if we have a clear breakdown to this low side, you know clearly that what you are looking for, this might be another big correction in a much more higher time frame. So you have to investigate the time frame clearly and see that, am I seeing everything that I'm supposed to see? So this is my 4-hour chart now. If you still don't see it clearly, you go to the 15 minutes. You want to see whether there's an impulse that's following something that you never see clearly, all right? And the last thing is when you now see this, oh my God, this is an impulse on 15 minutes now, okay? So now this flag formation is showing you a clear impulse on 15 minutes. It's showing you a small correction and it's showing you the impulse coming down. You know for a fact that you don't want to see this clear breakdown because this move down is impulsive in nature. Am I making sense or not? So we are looking at upside target, right? But what we are going to do is for us to even take this upside target, we don't want to underrate this sell-off, all right? This sell-off that we are not underrating, for us to see that upside target, we want to see a clear break, right, of this 15-minute trend line for us to say that things are going to go up. If we do not see that clear break of that 15-minute trend line, that impulsive move has shown us a clear sign of possibility of where the money is likely going to be going. So your time frames are essential to see things clearly. Sometimes you may not see it on 4 hours, you may not see it, especially by the time you say you want to be looking for entry, you will not see it on 4 hours, you will not see it on 1 hour. The 15 minutes might be providing a clear clue for you. So when you see this impulsive move down and you see this bearish flag formation, the particular pattern completion of this move will give us a minimum price objective that will be the length of that impulsive move, right? Superimposed on where the breakout is going to be, which is somewhere around there. So from the area of the breakout, which we are seeing currently, if you target this as the minimum target, one thing that you will be seeing clearly is there's every possibility that if price is going to break and it breaks out and it gets here, we have broken this zone, right? In this zone now, this is a zone of mass psychology. Remember, that low is a low area of my psychology. That's an area where you have to be careful, all right? Because you may be thinking price may break this low, all right, and then continue down, okay, and then they will play that mass psychology on you because look at here, 1 second, that's the low. Eventually the minimum price objective will come down here. Once we hit the minimum price objective, right, we may start to see correction. We still remember this impulsive move, all right, we still remember this impulsive move. We may start to see correction. Depends on the kind of correction that happens over here. We may now start to see price now flying back up higher. All right, so we are going to be very careful. We want to watch the end of this impulsive move. All right, and we have our various target zone, before we make anything. By the time price is coming out of here, right, we want price to come out of here impulsively. If price starts to show any sign of not being impulsive, there's no need to enter this trade, because the funny thing about this trade is this: the kind of target that you want to get out of this, you'll be seeing, sorry, 1 second. Let me see, price range. right? So this is just a 15 pips play. You're seeing out of here to that play. So 15 pips. The best thing for me is to continue to watch my trend line. I see I have utmost belief at the back of this impulsive move, but this pattern that we're seeing over here needs to complete itself. Yeah, and the completion is somewhere down there, and we may now see price now bouncing up from that area, and that is where I'm going to be looking to possibly buy again somewhere around this low. So that's what I'm looking for in the euro. I'm still seeing this as a strong impulsive move. Okay, but currently there's a small impulse coming in on the 15 minutes, which I have to let play out until I see the end of this move and I see the break of this trend line, right? I'm not gonna be thinking of buying this currently. I have to let this play out, right? I know it can play out and finalize over there, or come to this area or come to this area. That is my expectation on this, but I still want to favor this for a buy. All right, but for me to favor it for a buy, I know there's a mild psychology play that can possibly happen around there. Support, that's likely that people are going to be thinking is, hold, and then they sell a little bit below that support and price bounce back. My psychology zone is around there, and then things start to go back up higher. Right, so that's it for us on Euro US dollar. I'm going to do another update on the Euro US dollar for you looking at and I'll send it through the room, through the Telegram group. So for some of the people that's over here, you should be able to get it on the Telegram group if you're on the Telegram group. The order that we are looking for, do we have a clarity on the Euro US dollar, what we are waiting for? I think Euro US dollar, someone said something of another pair. All right, cool. So it's a patient situation because this impulsive move, as you can see it, or even on the 15 minutes, is still driving the price. But what happened towards the end of the session, we can negate it because we start to see that impulse coming in. Correction is clear. We've broken that particular area and it's looking impulsive, but we have to remember that that's the close of the market anyway. Anything can possibly happen. So that is where we are looking for. There's another currency that someone posted. Is it pound yen? So someone says pound yen. All right, so let's look at pound yen. So 15 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, and monthly. But you start from the top. Don't walk it down from the low, all right, so that you can see things clearly. Because what you are seeing over here now is you have a potential of a good trade on euro, and where the potential of the good trade is literally on the wall, literally in those zones, this high zone that we picked on the daily or the weekly chart. All right. Well, yeah, just because you may want to trade it from where it is currently, we've seen some impulsive move coming in, and then we are having that serious belief at the back of that even I haven't done the pattern separation. The most recent price action is somewhere around there, and somewhere around here, and if I build it up a bit, build it up a bit, these are areas whereby when prices get into this area, right, this area over here especially will be very good to look for short opportunity. This area over here will be very good to look for short opportunity. So the good trade in euro US dollar is not yet available. The best trade in euro US dollar is not yet available. So And for some people who want to be very patient and want to take the best trade, what they will do is they will just leave Euro US dollar alone and be looking for those opportunities over here and over here. So by the time we continue to do pattern separation in the market structure, you will be able to come up with just maybe about, out of the 28 currency, you'll be able to come up with maybe about 3 or just 3 or maybe even 6 pairs out of 28 major currencies. That's going to give you a good opportunity for the new week. I hope I'll be able to do, another webinar or probably a video of some weekly recap that we'll be able to pick up, because as you can see, this is in the middle zone, and you see how this area, you have about, look at it, it's not of best opportunity right now. You have about 555, 51 pips to get to this area. You've left this area of about 324. So we are in the middle zone, the best zone where things can happen 90% at this area of I, that area of I. So playing in this zone is a bit trickish. That's my opinion on the Euro US dollar. So let's look at the pound yen, and we'll be able to see whether playing in that zone for pound yen is very trickish or we are in a very good zone. So by the time we look at all the 28 pairs, we will see something that actually matches a very positive clear zone as well. So GBP. So for all new traders, stressing yourself on indicators can be very challenging. It will cloud your judgment. Understand your impulse, understand your correction, know where you are in the market, and at the same time just follow the true. Sorry, got some messages. Another my buy limit 1.009. No problems. Jumping off now, no worries, Jace. About this look. So at the back of the pound yen, all right, major impulse, some funny correction, and a reversal pattern over there that break out and give us that kind of impulse to the upside, and then another impulse correction, impulse correction. So what we are seeing, or where we are right now, is that impulsive move, right? We are at the back of a major correction, and this major correction is supposed to be giving us price to the downside, although we've achieved that target, right? So if we have this right there, this low, we've come back to that low, all right? The other high that we have in this would have been somewhere right over here, okay? And everything inside there is just a massive correction at the back of this impulsive move, all right? And this, well, we are stuck in a range of correction over here, all right? And then another thing that you can see as a range is this high. Those are the last places where we've been recently that we've touched even twice. So we are looking at this range of movement on the monthly. So you use your horizontal line to demarcate areas of last highs and last lows or so. All right, so you know on the monthly you have a big major area here and a big major area at the bottom over there. All right, so if I walk quickly to the weekly, now we can see the recent market action. We are looking at serious impulsive move down, but that's the reason why pattern separation is so important. All right, if you place this particular trend line from there to there, right, you have left this, so you have to use this area, okay? And once you're doing your trend line on weekly like this, you know that those are the important areas for you where you can act, right? Those are the important area where you can act. It depends on the kind of pattern that's showing up, but those are the important areas where you can act. So when I do this first touch, second touch, I extend it down, all right? Then I realize that I'm missing out another price, which is that price, another one over there. So the recent price action is what is important for us. So as you can see, this is a serious impulsive move down, all right? But that impulsive move kind of kind of attain a target. So once it attains a target, which is an area of a previous area low, a long-term previous area low, you want to see whether there's a correctional pattern. All right, so you want to see whether there's not just a correctional pattern, you want to see whether there's a reversal pattern as well. All right, you look into the daily to look for that. On the daily, impulsive move correction, impulsive move slide correction, impulse correction, impulse to the downside, and then we attain that particular low. So we still can't see much of a clarity, but we are looking at this. It looks like 3 days of impulse correction. Are we seeing an impulsive move here? We scroll to the 4 hour to look for that. All right. And when we get to the 4 hour, what we can see is we can equally have a trend line on a 4 hour chart and look at there. All right, so there is a sign of from there to that eye. So first touch, second touch, and that's the third touch. All right. So when we got that impulsive move to a very what's it called, that particular target zone on the higher time frame, what we can see is we saw this funny correctional pattern. You'll see it much more clearly on a lower time frame. Impulse correction, impulse, and then we made some kind of correction. This is still a correction. We didn't take out that low. Then impulse start pushing up higher, correction, impulse to a major 4 hour trend line correction. And you can see how the impulsive move, impulse, 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 yeah, correction, impulse, impulse has driven us out of this particular 4 hour trend line. But the funny thing is, we are not in a particular longer time frame zone. So these are the kind of charts that you leave alone, okay, because it won't generate as much as possible return like you are expecting for a trade on this high, all right, or a trade from this low. So it's much better for you to leave this alone. But you can see this kind of a pattern already. We have a triangular pattern coming up over here, such that what you are looking for in this corrective asymmetric triangle is a break to the lower side or a break to the higher side. Anything can happen. So this hasn't actually given us that breakout of a correctional zone. So we'll leave this alone for now as well. There's no any imminent trade coming up on this for now. So in terms of pattern separation, we know where we are on pound yen. We are looking for that impulsive break either to the downside or to the upside. But because we've broken out of this for our trend line in an impulsive manner, we will be favoring possible break up higher. All right, but the good short is not in place for now, and the good long is not in place for now until we start to break out of that particular zone and continue to push higher. But like I said, those high zone and low zone will have been the best zone for us. So let's look at New Zealand US dollar. That's another chart that someone sent through. If you have any other charts as we are progressing, don't hesitate to send it. And these are what is going to be keeping you on the right side of the market. So if you look at the currency pairs and there's nothing, you can start look at other commodities. Then you will surely find something at a key level. All right. So let's look at monthly now. Okay. So this is clear. Impulse, correction, impulse. All right. This is called correction. Yeah, that takes its time and then start to give us another impulse down. So this month is showing a bit of correction. So what we then what we wanted to do is a bit clear to us. Is either we start to look at this and say to ourselves that because it's a monthly chart, monthly takes a long time to unfold. We can look at the most recent I zone, which is somewhere over there. That's where we find some kind of little structure of two areas of I, all right? And then on the monthly zone, we see expecting price to probably push much lower, all right? But at the back of all this impulse, we're seeing a correction, so we can't negate that. So what we do is, let's look at this area, see how we break out of that, all right? And this is just a new month. So all we are seeing in this can be a possible correction that will now still end up turning this month into a red month, all right? So let's look at weekly first of all. Okay, so even on this weekly, you can see that this is some kind of correction, impulsive move down. That green month, another red, yeah. So we can see there's no clear direction. Second, no problems, no problems. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, just want everybody to get better in their game. So, yeah, I'm I'm glad you're learning. You know, that's the most important thing for me as well, for people to get out of the crazy situation. So, looking at that, that is a clean area where price can be trying to push itself to, all right? And when price is pushing itself to that area, the key thing for us is if you continue to follow us on the Telegram, you'll be seeing how we are going to be separating this big pattern into some other small patterns, some other harmonic patterns, how they will be coming up. Mohammed is helping with that. I'll be helping with the analyzing situation as they develop as well. You know, we have a very short, a very small group where we do that as well. So, GU, no problems. So, where we are now on this is impulsive move correction, right? This correction, instead of it to lead to continuation, now gives us some kind of is looking like a correction. All right, so this is more or less like a big correction that we are seeing. I've said the same thing on the weekly. All right, that we are looking at a correction. So on daily is more of a correction. On 4 hour, what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at it much more clearly. We'll be seeing possible price in this area would have been good for us, on that trend line would have been good for us. But like I said, after this massive impulsive move down on the 4 hour charts, that 4 hour trend line has shown us there's a break somewhere. Okay, we can do it this way, we will leave price out, we can do it that way. It's still possible that we can do it that way. We have one test, second test, all right. We can ultimately do it this way as well. Okay, we break out of that impulsive move correction, impulsive move to that area, all right. And then now we're seeing some kind of massive correction. So all we want to do is look at this whole correction as a whole. If it's not clear, it's not just clear. If it's clear, so what we can see is, even at the back of all this, we're seeing a massive triangular pattern, all right? And this massive triangular pattern, we want to leave New Zealand USD to make an informed decision, either break out of this zone, all right, or continue to push itself all the way higher till they get to this area. All right, and that's what we want to be looking at on the New Zealand USD, because the thing is, you want to maximize your profit, and when price is not behaving as as the way that it's supposed to behave, then you want to be careful. We've seen this impulsive move, right? What we're seeing, this is a correction. Okay, we broke out of it, correction, we moving impulsively, so we are seeing another correction that can still continue to push up higher. But you know, the big game is to be able to take a trade at the back of all these areas, right? Because those are key zone, or and then find that big shot, you know. So really and truly, the big thing is not yet ready. Find that big shot that can possibly break and continue. That's the essence. We want to actually follow the big money, all right? And the big money thing can be when price push up higher. The buy has already been on the way. All we can be doing is follow the impulse and correction for a next buy on the smaller time frame. But like I said, the buy is on the way. You can see it even on the 1 hour chart. So on this 1 hour chart, if you want to target those high zone, what you want to be doing is let me settings. So you want to be taking the buy of this low. That's what you want to be watching for, taking the buy of that low. When you take the buy of that low, the maximum thing that's there for you to trade is not that much. If you by the time we finish this and we now start to tally things up with the Fibonacci, you'll be able to see things much clearly. We'll be able to pick up. But I just want to do market structure pattern separation so that there won't be confusion in things. But confluence is still very essential. So this is just one part of the market, breaking it down and understanding and seeing clearly and noting the best area to look at trade opportunities. All right. So that is the structure that we are seeing. We want to see a breakout that's going to continue higher, but look at what we are having over here. We having possibility of impulsive move that's going to break this, that's going to continue to this high zone. So the massive potential that we can have in this is to see that 170 pip move to 150 pip move on New Zealand US dollar and wait for that shorting opportunity somewhere here. So that is my key location. That's what I'll be waiting for, that key short opportunity over there. So for me, New Zealand USD is not ready for what I'll be looking for. Remember, we have a massive breakout of that monthly zone. So all this can still be looking at a big correction. So that's what I am saying for now. All right. So that key area over there is where I'm looking for a shot. So someone says GU. So and this now will stop you from just jumping in or not being sure. So GU, majority of the currency pair in terms of structure, they've performed their move. So on the short term level, we are seeing this. Look at the last impulsive move, all right, to the upside, price correct. We can't stop those impulsive move. Yeah, we come back as much as possible to the low. We still end up pushing on higher. But yeah, let's look at it from big time frame point of view. All right, so this is the GU on the monthly chart. Right. So the GU is one pair that if I go over it for you, you'll be able to see certain things much more clearly. So that's the big impulsive move, okay? And this is a massive 5 years correction from 2008 to to 2014, almost 5 to 6 years correction. And this correction is 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 giving us another impulsive move to the downside. So this correction that we are seeing over here, this is a continuation of that correction, okay? And then what we see again in this is after we've hit this low, right? We see another correction to the upside. This correction to the upside give us an opportunity like this. What are we expecting? We are expecting some kind of impulsive move to the downside to target the last low, which is somewhere over here. All right. So on a monthly level, we're looking at this level. All right. But fortunately, price has done this. Okay. But if price is returning back down, you're not going to be looking for support over here. You'll be thinking price can push below, because this could have been a support. Look at this. This could have been a support, and price can now break below this support, right? I believe price is responding to pattern more than responding to just support and resistance. I'm not saying people are not trading support and resistance to make money, but when you have a eye opener session, you know, it can actually improve your trade, because that's the reason why price can easily break this area of support and still jump down here. So if price is coming down, you can easily break this area and still find itself down here. That's the essence of tracking it with a trend line. All right, that's the essence of tracking it with a trend line, because they know that these are all area of mass psychology. All right, a lot of people will be trading support and then they'll break that support. It looks so small on the monthly, but by the time you look at the daily, by the time you look at the daily or smaller time frame, you'll be able to say, look at this area over here. So if this is a resistance over here, right, price still managed to trade above, all right. And if we look at this area, and this is the reason why it's go to back test. So if I go on the smaller time frame, already this is a resistance zone, isn't it? That everybody believes. If you look at this pattern, first two areas right there, okay, and then first two lows and then first two highs. Let's separate these areas, all right. And then you start to see the area of mass psychology, because what you will have is that point leading to that point and then leading to that point, all right. So, and this is our resistance. In this case, did price break above the resistance or not? Did price break above the resistance or not? So for Johnny, when price break above the resistance, what you will be thinking in terms of mass psychology is break above, right? Then you want to see a retest, Johnny, and then you want to see a continuation, right? But I am saying to you that, okay, if a pattern is in place, all right, which means look at this weekly, you might not see the pattern clearly, but I am seeing it clearly. I'm seeing an impulsive corrective move that needs to end first of all. Let's have a look at it. So look at it. So when you look at a pattern like this, some people are just joining in as well. This is a massive impulsive move, okay? And then the whole of this is a correction, all right? In this pattern, it's an ascending channel, okay, that leads into another continuation, okay? So look at it. So all those ones are the correction. This is an impulsive move to the upside, okay? And this is the continuation of that correction to the upside. We're talking about an ascending channel over here, all right? So when you start to understand the name of those patterns, then you'll be able to see things much more clearly. And then what is this now? There's a particular pattern over here that emerges. What is this? What are we seeing here? What is inside this place? What kind of move is it? Is that a correction or an impulsive move? Corrective, all right? And then we see what again? So that impulsive move needs to complete, all right? So why that impulsive move is completing, this is that resistance that we've pointed out from very far, all right? A lot of people in my psychology, instead of them to understand patterns into their own trading, all right, they will be looking at support and resistance alone, and everybody start to sell here again, you know. And while they are selling, they sell so early such that price reverses, okay. And when price reverses, we want to go and complete that pattern at the high. All right, so the high and the lows of those areas are the best areas to look for trade. If we look this on a 4-hour time frame, say for example, but don't let the charts disappear. Which year is that? 2018. So we have a long way to go. We're still going to very chart is not going to go right. It's a building of 2017. Gives me last price for 2017 on 4 hour. I don't know the reason why though, but let me go back to that daily. But obviously on the daily, because we are requesting for more data, on the daily, you can see that that pattern get completed, right? Blow above support and resistance as usual, all right? And then look at the impulsive move, correction. What would we have? Continuation, all right? That continuation in the area of mass psychology, because we get to that area in an impulsive manner, we got that continuation. And the back of that continuation is when we start to see price hitting that top trend line, right? This would have been our first rosy code. This will have been our first touch. The second touch, once we're seeing this impulsive move, we are thinking carefully that this area will be the area of mass psychology, because everybody is not thinking of the impulsive move. They are now looking at 2005 dead resistance. And then because they know that you continue to be looking at that 2005 resistance, price shoot up above it, such that when price find a reason to come back here again, some people are still sitting down looking at this resistance, right? Looking at that resistance, and then look at what pattern we do again. Now we have adjusted that area before, and as price continue to come, get to that area for whatever reason, maybe a pattern leading to that area, for whatever reason, blow above the resistance. That shouldn't happen, this and that. And then we complete the pattern. When we complete the pattern, a lot of people are looking for the break. They're looking for the what? The break and retests and continuation. That's what they're looking for. All right. But just because we have seen what kind of pattern we have before, and right, we haven't seen a complete reversal when price hits targets, which is where we are right about now, right? All this that we're seeing is at the back of that 2008 recession. Okay, on the video as well. Oh, good, it's there. The back of 2008 recession, all right? Before that 2008 recession, we saw a particular pattern unfolding right here, that ascending channel again. Yep, you can see our price is hitting the highs, selling off. It's the highs, although with impulse, selling off. So you can see impulsive move up. Impulsive move up. Correction. Right? And then continuation to the high of that zone again. Correction.
You know, it's my money. You know, it's my money.
And then we saw at the high of that area, the best shots. You get where I'm coming from. Price move all the way down. The continuation, the pattern is in play, and then as soon as we have the break of that pattern, massive correction. This massive correction comes in form of another pattern. This pattern is a diamond pattern. It's a bearish pattern, especially at the back of the break of that impulsive move to the downside, right? Then we saw this break. The first targets would have been somewhere around there, okay? But did that support hold? Nobody could have ever told that, that's an area of support. But when we come to a ranging market condition, price got there again, and it looks like as if it holds. So you can't get this specific price for a support or a resistance. There's no need to doubt that. But you can look at that continuation, push all the way down. And then we have a very much psychology in this zone over here. Or it's a reversal pattern. This is a reversal pattern. It's a tree drive reversal pattern seen over here. And we break out of that into a massive correction. And that correction eventually finds its continuation at the high of the completion of another ascending channel pattern. So where we are right now, give me a second, please. where we are right now, we're seeing the same type of pattern again. All right, rising up, and you can get your best shot at the highs and the best buys at the lowest, but it's a correction pattern. At the back of this impulse, this correction, we break out of it and we come back to this target. At this target area, you will see that same type of reversal pattern formation. It's small over here on the daily, but when we look at it on 4 hour, so when a pattern completes, it can give you a complete correction or a complete reversal. It can give you a complete correction that will now lead to another continuation or a reversal. So in this place, we saw some kind of correctional pattern, all right? And this correctional pattern, I was in this trade at a point in time, and I was looking at this head and shoulder pattern again. And then that was low over there, the head over there, some kind of funny neckline, you know, prices is giving us, and then we got the right shoulder, and then eventually we got a funny head and shoulder, but it's a head and shoulder pattern. If you look at the base, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. They looks like, and then they look like a triple bottom at the same time as well. So that would have, sorry, I lost that. That would have been the left shoulder, the head, and the funny right shoulder. All right. So we got that reversal pattern. Some people refer to it as a triple bottom. You know, a triple bottom or a head and shoulder pattern. The most important part of the completion would have been, which is the minimum price of objective, would be from that high to that area, all right, and then clone it to the break. Let's say clone. So if I put a horizontal line here, say for example, so that's the area where we have the breakout. Right, so this triple bottom or this head and shoulder pattern has reached its own completion as well. And that's the reason why you are seeing the price in the pound US dollar giving us this kind of range, all right? And in this kind of range now, what we want to see is, it is clear, we need an impulsive move in whatever direction. Impulsive move in whatever direction, okay, that will lead to whatever continuation that we're gonna get. But this is the range that we are playing right about now. Right. This range is even more or less like another flag pattern. All right. So on this pound US dollar range, this low zone is important for us. That area, those are the areas where we want to be looking for candlestick patterns that can give us another buy opportunity to the upside, because we come here impulsively. We are now in a big correctional structure, all right? And this correctional structure, we are actually a seller in this area now, you know, because at the end of the day, we've reached the high one, too many times, and price is trying to push down. But for you to even go much more deeper, you can now go to a 1 hour chart. So connecting the dots, impulse, pattern separation. It's good to separate your pattern to the daily charts. impulse, some kind of big funnel correction right there, and this is some kind of triangular pattern, which is break above it, price is shooting down again. So all this base area can be equally important, but yeah, price is looking like it's safe. The next buy that we can get in the pound can come all the way down to this low. If not, we'll be looking at this base area. All right. So for now, that is the structure that we are seeing in the pound. But there's nothing that says that because we break out of a correctional area, we cannot continue up to come and target this zone, this high zone over here. All right. So as a matter of fact, for us to get that, we need to see a buying that will start again from this low area. So as price is coming down, yeah, breaking all this little trend line zone that we've seen, then you can start to imagining buying again in this area. All right, and that area is another area of my psychology where you have to be patient to actually see price unfolding. And that is that on pound USD. Until we see a break above this area impulsively, we are not a full confidence buyer anymore. Rather, now we're seeing price shooting down. All right, and for us to actually buy and take advantage of this impulsive move is good for us to be picking our buys from this zone. That's where we can get the highest or the best good risk reward, if you can understand. That's the base of the correction, and then obviously the base of the correction we offer a best good risk reward as the people who are thinking of selling at this high of the correction are looking at it for a very good risk reward opportunity. Right. So that is it on pound US dollar. And I think we are getting on to Easter Monday now. Or yeah, if I'm right, I think, and obviously we can be looking for a very thin trading volume coming to that. And then Tuesday will be a very positive new big trading day for all traders. All right. So correction might start to come in, and the low of the correction is where you want to be buying. All right. And then the high of the correction is where you want to be looking for the breakout. So if you're buying the low of the correction, you will be taking a little bit out of your position, getting closer to this high. Yeah. And then if you see the breakout impulsively, you're not going to be hesitating to buy and continue to target the high. And in this case, this particular flag pattern that start from there will give us a target at the high. All right. So, and before that, I will know that we have all these funny little areas that can be playing an important psychology. There are some other things that are coming up on the pound anyway, which is those areas over there as well. And I think it has an important, what's it called on the daily as well. So that is coming up. And you have to just be able to see your things in a much more clear, sensible manner by making sure that you squeeze the chart for you to see it much more clearly at the same time as well. So yeah, because we've reached the bottom of that our pattern, now we are anticipating possibility of reverse of a reverse, and that possibility of a reverse can take us up, higher to this trend, and this would have been another very good area to start looking for another short opportunity. Yeah, based on the structure of this market. Some people will actually wait for that time and be patient to look for that. But before that, the other thing that is clearly visible is this, right? So we may not even get to that. That and that area did not just occur in the charts for nothing. They occur such that this impulsive move can still push itself all the way higher, and then find a stop over there whereby we can look at patterns that's evolving around there and do some pattern separation and see where we're going to get a breakout. And when we are getting a breakout in this possible area of math psychology again, we can be expecting that short that can push price down again. Yeah, but this sell-off that occurs somewhere around there, we're gonna see it now. Let me say this impulse correction continuation that give us this massive correction, actually give us a continuous sell-off to this low target area. So now we are seeing some kind of funny reversal after we have attained our targets that can give us a continuation to the upside. I'm still looking at it because we have an impulse over here. I don't know if you can see it. Because we have an impulse over here, a lot of people are seeing this as just a mere flag that can give us a continuation. But when it comes to flag, if it's a bullish flag, like we'll be looking for the continuation, but the breakout of this area is what is key on the pound dollar, either to the upside or to the downside. Breakout of that area is very key in the pound dollar right about now. So let's watch out for it. Once it breaks to the upside, a lot of buying opportunities, we take advantage of price because we've got many touches above there. If we manage to break to the downside now, then obviously that is key, and we can continue down to break below this low. So yeah, but let's look at the last impulse in the market, and we are seeing massive correction that can continue to lead to a continuation. We have a funny small doji day, there's trading activities because of Good Friday. That can be another opportunity to be looking for price on the upside. This might be a slight little correction. Let's look at it on 15 minutes. So let's say 15-minute chart. Impulse went to the up. All right. And then obviously, so let's be prepared for this last area. So the last point of connect. Impulse to the upside. Massive length of correction, which is good, and look at where we are. We might be looking at this area now. That's where we are currently stopping. The horizontal line that will be there will be this, okay, which means at the back of this impulse we can see a little bit of correction that will now, we can see this. Where is it? Some bar patterns. See. You can see that again, that correction that will give us a push down to this lower sides. We have to remember the area of mass psychology at the back of this impulsive move, and then we might start to see price pushing up higher again if we test a little bit below. Yeah, but we continue to monitor how price developed. But the pound dollar is still showing an increased push to the upside, a large correction after correction. Our expectation is continuation. This sell-off that we see is at the back of the close of the week of that profit taking that we see at the close of the market on Good Friday. So those kind of move are just profit taking move. We have to wait for how the price is going to develop in the new trading week. All right. So if there's any question, don't hesitate to ask. We continue to monitor how the market progress. If you feel like you have you want us to continue our class and you want to support, you can support us with also different kind of forms of payment, cryptocurrency, PayPal, and then I'll send the link over here. I hope you manage to gain value from this. I will try my best to save the recording. I will upload it on YouTube. And obviously, if you want to check the YouTube channel, I will send it in. Yeah, the YouTube channel is over here. There are a couple of educational resources that are posted there. Sometimes ago, I will continue to post some more, and we will try and keep the class together so that we'll be doing some live trading session, which I'll be updating you as well as the opportunity comes. I want to say thank you so much for your time tonight, and then I hope you have a very positive trading week. Okay, no problems. Thank you. So it's there already. Yeah, let me see. So if I scroll up and down, we've got a Bitcoin. Yeah, I think aside from, yeah, we've got the PayPal link right there. We've got the Bitcoin address right there. We've got the Ethereum address right there. The Litecoin address, the Ripple address, Dogecoin. You are welcome, everybody. I want to say, I mean, it's been a great session for me. More than anything else, I had a little bit of challenge to be able to get stable internet in Africa, but I mean, now that I'm in Africa, I can see a couple of opportunities. I want to say thank you to Augustine Uche, Best Damien Scott, Doji Emmanuel Humphrey. I am Olajide O Infinix X4, Mohammed Jumia, Buki, the Otech, and Wulu. I want to say thank you for joining in, and I wish you a positive trading week as we go on. And I'll be updating you of the next class, and then we'll be tallying things together. We'll be looking into much more deeper patterns, but it's very essential that, and if you are new to trading, if you are finding it challenging, don't hesitate to contact me. I will be able to see how best to have a one-on-one session with you, and then obviously help you to get up to speed on how to use some of the tools. Yeah, do we hope to get update on this setup? Yes, you will get update on the setup. I am Mohammed. We continue to be updating the setup. We'll be posting posting it on the Telegram. Obviously, you'll be able to get updates on that. So, yeah, and the most important thing is this market structure and patterns that we treated today is one aspect of trading as well. There are other things that you need to put into consideration, but it's quite important to understand it, to be able to see where the money flows is going, where the money is actually, and then obviously you'll be able to make an informed decision as we go on. And obviously, when I do my going forward analysis, I'll be posting them. You'll be able to see it. Yeah, we have this Telegram group for a small group. We don't want it to be congested. Um, Obviously, there were about 3 Telegram groups. If you are not part of all of them, this is the first one. This is the first one. Most people are part of that. We have some other close group as well. The second one is this. Then the third one, we do not want any spam in there at all, because the spam is not doing us any great it's just a private mentoring group. So if you're gonna spam the group, please, there's no need to join. I just want to maintain it for a close people who are part of what we do. All right, and that is the Telegram group. You'll be able to see most of Mohammed's updates. I'll be following it up as well. What we wanted to do is be able to join this trading class with what's it called? We'll be able to update it and be able to show you what our trade is like as we go forward. The YouTube channel will be helpful to you if you want to learn as well. Let me find the link and obviously post it. So, right, so if you email me or send me private message or send me a private message on one of those Telegram, or if you can get through to me, just obviously send me a message on the Telegram group, then I will private message you privately, and then we take it from there. Okay, so yeah, I believe we bring about a lot of value today, and then we will carry on providing more value as we go on. So, I hope you are able to gain value as well. Try and get some rest, drink a lot of water, and exercise is very important when it comes to being a trader. Exercise is very important. It kind of open your brains. So try and get some light exercise done before you start your trading session. And at the same time, we'll be looking at possible addition of confluences using Fibonacci to pinpoint specific entry. And then there's a little bit more to do on market structure at the same time as well, which I'll be coming up to. You just know that this is one part to it, but there are some other key parts that will be able to make you pinpoint the right trade location, and then I want to teach the real thing that makes the market move, which is the auction that's at the back of the market, because you need to definitely understand that all this that we are seeing, all this move that we are seeing is at the back of an auction process, and say for example, the market is like a tug of war between the buyers and sellers. All right. So 1 minute when the buyers, we have much impact in the market, and push the price up, and we look at it in form of every 30 minutes how the activities are developing. There are a couple of things such as value and value areas that we'll be looking at, the price of control for the day, like, and those things are essential for you to know as well, so that you can understand who is in control at any point in time. So all those things are key as much as we talk about market structure, the the auction market process as well does not really need an indicator. Let me see whether I have one over here. Right. So, and this is found dollar. We'll get there. Don't worry. But you need to be able to understand things for what they are on a day like this. On a day like this, which is the last trading day, there's no clear winner between the buyers and the sellers. All right. I can actually see from the structure that I'm looking at over here, this structure is more or less like a neutral day structure. Nothing happens. There's no clear direction. Nothing happens. So, but this is a little bit advanced, and obviously the price, even as we fall down, as we sell off on this day, we are still sitting. The auction market process makes you to see what the activities that happens between the buyers and sellers. It's like a football field, and then you'll be able to see who is in control. So the previous day activities was all these activities, and this area of this gray area, this low area of gray shows me clearly where the value area ranges for the previous day. And for the mere fact that we close and then we do not close into this area shows me that they are happy to accept all these high prices over here. The cheapest price to buy is over here. So when the market opens, I'll be monitoring developments. Yeah, no worries. It's okay. You don't have to rush yourself. I just want to say to you that this sell-off that we saw last on the pound is, as much as it looks so impulsive, right? But for the mere fact that it occurs at the end of the trading day is not of high relevance. That's what I wanted to show you, because we are still standing above the old activities of we are still standing above the, oh, thank you, okay, we are still standing above the old activities of previous days. So yeah, you can see it as impulsive, right? But it's not as irrelevant, and that is the reason why I was saying to you that for the pound, we're not going to be looking at anything until we see the break of this low. Okay, so there are so many things that will be confirming certain move, and that's the reason why I'm saying that this impulsive move goes a very, very long way, and you see what is holding the structure of the market, and this is just a correction. That's just what I want you to have at the back of your mind, so keep that at the back of your mind, such that when the market opens, there's no need to rush into thinking this is an impulsive move, then I want to start selling, or I don't know what kind of idea that can come in. Just be patient and know what happens before, because what happens before, what happens on the previous day shows us where the actual impulsive move is, and what we are seeing currently is just a correction at the back of that. All right, I hope that makes a lot of sense to you as we go forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very wonderful time spending with you. This training moment. I don't know why. I love to have your presence around all the time, and I wish you the best of luck in your trading endeavor. And I pray to God Almighty to continue to strengthen every one of us so that we'll be able to emerge at the best side of these successful ventures, and plus the other things that I do. Keep that poster that I send into the group, share it with some of your friends if they need help. They can easily learn, they can take advantage of funding as well, they can support what we do over here. There's a lot of things that we can always do together, and hopefully we can take this from this ground level up, and then take it to a better height as we go forward. So I wish you the best of luck, and I just want you all to know that I love you all, and have a lovely evening. Thank you. I'll call it a day now. Welcome. So, into one last motivation. Just focus on yourself, and everything will be fine, man.
This was me right after I started my business. You see, starting my business, that was easy, but maintaining it, I see millions of motivational speakers that speak to the rich, that speak to the successful. I said, who speaks to the broken? Who speaks to the individuals that's still in the process? Who speaks to the individuals that doesn't want to live anymore? Every motivational speech you ever heard, I was talking to myself and I was telling my story. I couldn't read till I was 16. I buried my mother to a heroin overdose. My father was a hitman. I used to sneak in crack houses to sleep next to my mom to make sure she was safe at night. But through all the chaos and all the pain, God built the world. So when y'all see King Hollins, and every time I drop a speech, I'm dropping it for you. That person that want to give up on his life, I'm dropping it for you. That person that don't know that they have greatness inside of them, I'm dropping this for you. See the difference between a good player and a great player. See, that good player body past the limit. He leaves every single drop of blood on the field. And whatever he does in life, he wants to be remembered as the greatest. He does that extra 10 when the coach only asks for 20. He runs that extra mile when the coach only asks for 5. See, he knows he's going to have to dig deep inside his soul to bring out that game, to bring out that legend, to bring out that ball that lays in every single one of us. But we won't go deep enough to get it. We're not going to be good. We're going to be great. Being broke is a mindset. That's something that you put inside your head. That's something that you tell yourself every single day. I literally started from the side of a Turkey Hill gas station. And all I did was ask someone, could you give me an opportunity to go into your studio? Could you give me an opportunity to walk into this place every single day and create my motivation? The time didn't take long. It was only 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll finish the speech and I'll give it out. Because many of you guys don't know, I do not write speeches. Everything I do is from the heart. So what I did was I truly believe that I have something special to give this world. And I want you to know that you have something special to give this world. Don't ever believe that the lack of funds is the reason why you're not being successful. This is not true. The lack of belief is why you're not successful. Every single human being on this earth is a walking $1 million check. And our belief in ourselves, our grind, our true grit to wake up every single day and tell ourselves and tell the world that I will be something special is what separates you from everyone else. I learned that when I stop being envious of people and stop judging people and stop being angry that I'm not on their level is when I truly started to elevate in my career. I told myself I would never take a dollar bill from another person. I will never sell my dream and my gift to anyone for any dollar amount. Don't you ever do that. And every morning you wake up and you look in the mirror, I want you to look in that mirror and I want you to tell yourself that I am special, I am great, and I am phenomenal. Nobody will stop me from reaching my goal. My goal, my individual goal, is to become one of the best speakers of all time. But I know I have so much work to do. While they sleep, I must work. While they party, I must grind. While they procrastinate, I'm
Looking for a car? TV. Japan's largest online used car marketplace.
I must go after my future with relentless effort. And I want you guys to grow to be successful with me. I don't want to just be successful by myself. I want my message to grow other people and make other people successful. That's what life is truly about. It's about picking great individuals and taking them with you. We got to make this decision in our life today, Kings and Queens, that we will not be ordinary. We will be great. But I'm telling you now, some people is just out to love you. So for the rest of my career and the rest of my life, I want you to look at William Hollis as your brother, your family, because we are. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter where you came from. The only thing that matters is who loves you now. Growing up in the projects of Pontiac, Michigan, I realized two things. I realized that I won't make it if I believe that this is my reality for the rest of my life. And two, I had to realize that all the knowledge and my gifts were already placed inside of me at
I'm
birth.
just finalizing.
All I have to do is fine tune. All I have to do is keep working on this craft every single day, and I can be successful. When I sat on the side of that Turkey Hill gas station, I realized that no one would believe in me. No one will say, William Hollis, one day your speeches will be played all around the world. No one. And I realized that pain was necessary. I realized that without my belief, I cannot go to the next level. And I want you guys to know, every piece of motivation I give you, I'm talking to myself. The world just happened to hear me. Let's become legendary. Let's not focus on who don't see anything in us. Let's focus on everything that does. You are filthy rich. You were born rich. We're going to forget about the generational lack. We're going to forget about the people who left us. We're going to focus on the people who love us. We're going to focus on the people who believe in us. Because you have greatness inside of you. You have an everlasting potential. And as long as you have a heart, as long as you have air in your lungs,